What up? Let's get weird. It's your boy Tommy G here with the legendary Friday Night Roundtable. We got the whole fucking goon squad with us this evening. Boys, is everyone doing well now? You guys ready to fucking rock?
That's good.
I'm ready to gamble.
I miss you guys after a week.
I'm getting ready.
Week off. Fucking everyone have a happy Thanksgiving. I'm sure you did. We'll talk about Scarface, who had a happy Thanksgiving, but could have been $250,000 richer. So, Jerry, let's start with you. You guys fucking smashed it on the DFS side last week. You, Healy, and the whole fucking entire squad. Just I didn't play DFS last week. Had a good time gambling, but you guys fucking skull fucked it, and you were one event away from an extra.
One catch. One.
Tell us what happened.
If Gabe Davis just turned around and caught that stupid fucking ball, I mean, we'd be seeing some screenshots this week.
How much money did that cost you?
Over $200K.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
Still did good, but
yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, it probably moved you from first.
All he has to do is just turn around and catch the ball. That's it. That's literally all he had to do.
That was crazy. One of the craziest plays of the weekend.
We had some awesome plays that last week. Awesome plays. Me, Healy, the rest of the crew.
Yeah, you guys fucking killed it. I saw screenshots everywhere. Speaking of Healy, I was going to ignore you because of that fucking jersey. I know it's a fucking shot at me. I get it. I know the Gabe Davis miss. You were probably cheering, even though your friend cost $250,000 because you're an asshole and you wanted your Eagles to win. So go, Brian. Tell everyone how you're fucking doing.
It was a great week. Great week 12. We're on to week 13 where I'm going to be starting quarterback for the New York Jets. Here we go.
I mean, honestly, I'd rather you as the starting quarterback for the New York Jets right now. Constantino, I mentioned it on Steak Cash, and this motherfucker gets better looking every show. You really do, Mike. You're killing it.
Thank you to you and Stacy, my two biggest fans.
Yeah. I mean, me and Stacy are going to fight over you. This is very.
Well, she wins.
I would agree. Yes, that's a smart decision. So what's up, Mike? You ready? You locked in? You showed me two.
I'm ready to fucking go.
Notes.
Yeah, I love this time of year. A lot of data out. You know, teams are who they are. You could clearly see who's going to tank. Good coaching, quarterback play, and defense really comes into focus this time of year. We didn't gather last week, but the week before, much like my friend Scarface over there, I was 0.8 points away from 55 grand and just couldn't get there. I mean, it's crazy. 0.8 points away.
Who was the letdown?
0.8 points. You could probably point to 12 of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a collective. It was Rashee Rice on the final drive of that Kansas City standalone island game 2 weeks ago. You know, he caught like 2 or 3 passes in that last drive, and 1 yard more, I win it all. I mean, he got pushed out of bounds on a play. It was crazy.
Yeah, we had a situation this weekend that just went on. A lot of fucking near misses. I put in a Hoffy G, me and Luke Hoffman on the betting side. Put in a touchdown parlay. Put in a 7-player touchdown parlay.
Aren't we still on the how are you doing, Mike phase of this program?
Nope, you just had your time. You get 30
seconds. That was it?
Yep, that was it.
One quick story?
You used your time for that. Yes.
Oh, we're going tonight.
Yeah, we're going. We're coming in. Me and Hoffman did a 7. This is where you shut up and let the host talk. Pipe down over there, kid. Stop. You're getting a little cocky with that better looks that are coming every week. So me and Hoffman did a 7-leg touchdown parlay, Healy. Hit all 6, and the final leg was Eckler going into the night game. We did hedge it a little bit, obviously, but it was plus 6,000. We couldn't get Eckler in the box there. So we had a big weekend over at 4Deep. We're fucking clicking on all cylinders. College basketball's rocking right now. Absolute fucking skull fucking. Big college football weekend. And we got the GOAT over there. I mean, if you got Trevor.
The intro.
What do you mean?
Getting in the box. Here's the GOAT. Getting in the box. Then you should have led right into here's the GOAT. If you questioned the wisdom before, all I do is fucking win. You see this gray? See this? Let's fucking go.
I mean, dude, you got to lead with let's fucking go. Talking about missing the intro. Anytime I go to you, you have to lead with fucking go.
Is it Blue Label again tonight?
It's Johnny Blue.
Johnny Blue. Trevor loves to let us in. So basically, if you guys are new to the show, we play a game in here. We see how many games we can get to before Trevor's blackout. Just a precursor. Trevor does win a lot of money in DFS, but doesn't know a single player's name. So if you hear him call every player, put an S at the end of their names, it's not
the building line.
Like Deebo Samuels today on the
I did slip with Samuels.
Good
I did
fucking
slip.
call, Mike. I was listening.
I got you.
I was fucking listening.
You did.
I tried to dial in, but we don't have that technology. Now I'm dialing in next time.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. I pulled the Trevor. That was crazy.
Samuels.
And he's one of my favorite players. Yeah, that was not. I mean, listen. The bottom line is even great one like me makes a mistake once in a while.
Fair.
Brian Healy, kick us off. What
Fair.
are we looking at? Do we have any crazy weather? Give us an overview of the slate on a whole.
Yeah, week 13, we're rocking and rolling. A lot of potential rain in the forecast. Obviously, I think we talked about rain kind of week over week. It's something you got to just monitor up to Sunday morning, right? How heavy is it going to be? Is it going to be windy? That's what we're more concerned about. There's going to be a lot of game environments, a lot of games in that northeast area that's going to be raining pretty much most of Sunday. So something we'll have to monitor as we lead in, but there's only a handful of games that have these, round 40-point or sub 40-point totals this week. So I think there's a couple games outside of that we'll really like for DFS this week.
Yeah, very interesting, Scarface. Not a great slate from a betting perspective, which is the first thing I obviously look at. Not a great slate. There's a bunch of shitty games, but the totals are higher than I thought they'd be. So
some of these defenses are getting tired, man. Like you're getting like yesterday. Who would have thought that game would have shot out like that? But I think we're going to start to see a lot more of that. And I don't think these totals have caught up to what's going on yet. So I think there's a lot of sneaky shootouts this week, I think.
All right. Trevor, did you raise your hand to speak? Great. Awesome input. All right, let's go to
Hold on. Before you go on, I want to pivot to what he said. How do you think Goat did yesterday in his same game parlays?
Did you win them? Oh, yeah.
Look, you won the fuck.
70 totally.
The thing.
Yeah.
This game was retarded. First play of the game, Metcalf goes fucking downfield. Then Seaton comes back.
13 weeks, you finally got your 35-32 primetime game. There we go.
Right.
So let's go. Chargers, New England. Healy kicks off.
All right. Are you in order? Did you start in order?
I am actually using the DraftKings order.
All right. I'm just making
we
sure.
All use it, which we
you want me to start it off, Healy, while you got your thoughts?
No, I as far as this game goes, how about the Patriots? 2 weeks in a row, not allowing more than 10 points and still losing the football game. That's quite the feat for the New England Patriots. I think this really projects like what you would expect a December game in Foxborough to be. It's going to be cold. There's likely going to be rain. I think it's going to be a slow, slug 'em out game. The Patriots, they're drawing up plays for like the 5th and 6th string quarterback because they know their starting quarterback's not going to make it throughout the game. Their wide receiver, Douglas, probably their only decent wide receiver, is concussed. This is going to be a tough one. Ramondre Stevenson, the only guy that I'm considering from a skill player perspective on the Patriots side of the ball. He's starting to separate a bit from Zeke Elliott in terms of snaps and touches. Chargers, right around 10th, giving up the 10th most fantasy points to opposing RBs. And on the other side, this is a tough travel spot. Chargers traveling all the way to the East Coast for the 1 p.m. games. Allen's battling a quad. Yeah, he's a PPR monster, but the Patriots defense has been, again, as I mentioned, they've been respectable. And Eckler, he cost you guys the parlay. He looked like dust. He looked slow. Man. He looked sluggish.
You see that video? If you search Eckler on Twitter, it's literally all that pops up is the video of him getting fucking outrun by 6 guys when he should have broke away for a touchdown. He's slow. He's a bowling ball right now.
Yeah, and no other wide receiver stepped up since Big Mike went down. So I can't get behind anybody on the Chargers side. Really not a good fantasy game in my opinion. Stevenson have a little bit of interest in this week.
All right, I'm going to go to Mike here next because Mike Healy just co-signed your touchdown call on the show. I know Mike's big on Stevenson this week, so talk to me here.
Healy touched on it with the weather. You got to watch the weather. They are expecting a lot of rain here, but let's speak as if it's going to be an okay playing field. That's the type of game that favors the Patriots, that defensive run it mindset. They also have a very good defense against a run, which is going to force the Chargers to pass. They've been struggling lately, but what I really like about this game is Stevenson, who I mentioned, is getting like 5+ targets a game. He's getting the goal line touches. Zeke is a little banged up. Quarterback change. Zappi's starting. Skill players out, Demario Douglas out. All these pass catchers are so cheap. I don't think anybody's going to own any Hunter Henry after he had no targets last week at 3,100. You could even get to, if you need to, Devontae Parker or Juju at 32 and 3,300. Somebody's got to catch the ball and some sort of a pass script that you can punt those prices, especially for a cash game. Pick one you like and, spend up elsewhere. But it's Stevenson for me. And I just don't know what the hell the Patriots are doing. I mean, they knocked Big Vin out of a survivor pool, Tommy. So he's
Ah.
the Patriots now.
Love Big Ben. Love Big Ben.
But that's how I see that game playing out. A lot of Stevenson. He's just a
Yeah.
volume monster.
Scarface, I was looking at Demario Douglas, and this one looks like he's not going to play. I think he's ruled out officially. So we do have a lot of value here on the New England side at receiver, and we're going against one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. Is who we picking at here?
Yeah, I think with those guys out, I mean, the usage is going to go to Stevenson again. I mean, we were on him last week. The Chargers, they're not very good at stopping the run. Stevenson, he's averaging like around 90 yards the last few weeks. He's been getting into the end zone.
Getting about 70% of the snaps, too.
Yeah, I mean, he's really their only weapon at this point. I mean, especially with the shit show they have going on at quarterback. The other piece I do have interest in that Mike mentioned is some of that Hunter Henry. It's a revenge game for him. I mean, if Douglas misses, you think that Henry's going to get a few extra looks his way. And I think he's got a chance of maybe finding the end zone once. I mean, maybe twice. There's games when he pops, he pops. You know, Henry's one of those guys. He's 3,100. You could easily plug him into a lineup, and all he's got to do is just really catch a touchdown, get a few yards. He's 3,100 on DK, 5,100 on FanDuel. Somebody I definitely have interested in. We're going to have to monitor Keenan Allen's status here. If he was to miss, it could open up some value at receiver for the Chargers. If he plays, then I'm pretty much out on all the Chargers here. I'm not going to pay up for him when there's other spend-ups on the slate I'd rather get to. Same goes for Eckler. He hasn't been the same since the injury. I don't expect him to get anywhere in this game environment here.
There's not much here.
I mean, if Allen was to miss, we could start looking at some of these other guys like Guyton. I mean, they're cheap enough where if they start getting an increase in targets, you could definitely play them.
Yeah, this is the spot where Stevenson's the guy. He's reasonably priced, as you guys said. This is a spot you're going to pick your punts from. You know, you're going to be looking for a lot of guys to get for 3,500 here. Healy says, Healy, I say shake your head. You don't think so?
I mean, in my opinion, I think you're better off using like the Saints value as opposed.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying this is the best value on the slate for punts. I'm saying if you're going to play this game, you're probably going with a lot of 3K guys.
Oh yeah, but I mean, who the fuck's
you're not spending up here for sure. You're not.
Yeah, it's not a spend up game. Like Hunter Henry's my favorite play in this game. 3,100 for similar reasons that you just mentioned. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about, Scarface, is we did see, Zappy last week, 0 targets for Hunter Henry in that spot. I think that was more of an outlier aberration than anything else. So yeah, I'll be going Hunter Henry at 3,100. Trevor, you're really good. You were the Kendrick Bourne whisperer to start the season.
Listen, you guys are missing a huge piece of this game.
This is the Trevor's game that you go to him for with the weird punt out of nowhere. So
who watched the game last week?
We all watched everything. We don't need.
Who looked amazing? Who looked amazing last week? He looked fast. He looked agile. They got him the ball a few times. I think this is a great spot for Gerald Everett. The whole team's banged up. Herbert's going to sling it. He's not going to stop slinging it. I think they're going to scheme some plays. The weather's going to be an issue. I'm really looking at Everett right here. I think they really get him involved this weekend.
I think if Keenan's out, that's definitely a play you can look for there for sure, especially
if Keenan's out, it's going to open up value for them for sure. But if he's in, I'm just out on that whole passing game.
Yeah, if Keenan's in, I would be out. But yeah, I agree with you, Trev. If Keenan Allen's out, which I think he's trending
with or without, I like it.
He's fine without. He's fine with, but without, it ups his touchdown equity, it ups his target share, and he's 3,500. So yeah, I do like that. Let's pace through these a little bit quicker as we go. We don't want to be on here till 10:30. Detroit at New Orleans. Jerry, let's actually, Haley, I'm going to start with you again on this one because you just mentioned the New Orleans values. So talk to me about where your favorite spot is here.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a really good fantasy game to target this week. Obviously, as I mentioned, there's like 5 or 6 games with potential rain. This one's obviously going to be inside the Superdome. Despite Jared Goff home road struggles historically, don't mind him on the road here in the Dome versus a Saints defense that has. Can
I chime in there for a second here? I don't want to cut you off, but I need to clarify something because I was looking into this for the Chargers game a couple weeks ago. Jared, this is sometimes you got to go deeper than the numbers, right? It's real easy to look at the home road splits. Jared Goff's problem hasn't been on the road. It's been on the road in cold weather or grass.
That's what I was about to mention.
He's actually great on the road. If you look at his 2 road starts in warm weather environments, at the Chargers, 333-2 this year, and at Tampa Bay, 353-2. So he's actually balled the fuck out. Right. But the media, and this is why a show like this helps, the media is just pumping up this generic stat that's going to keep people off Goff. But like Healy said, this is a Dome. This is a great spot for Goff where not a lot of people are going to be on him. Carry on, Healy.
Yeah, I'm going to build iterations of this game kind of both ways. I think the Lions' run game has a really good matchup here against the Saints. If you think the Lions play from ahead, this is the David Montgomery game script. Gibbs is kind of getting a little bit.
We got to stop. I say this everywhere. With this NFL, we got to stop projecting game script. Just assume neutral, because this league is fucking insane.
Well, absolutely. But again, you have to build your lineup with a game script in mind to kind of tell the story. If you think the Lions are going to win, a certain way, they have running backs that are going to run the ball. It's not like the Cowboys who can't run the ball, who are just going to pass the ball irregardless of score.
I actually think one of the big edges in GPPs this year is to not factor in the game script, which is differentiating your lineup, because everyone's factoring in a certain game script. It's putting you on different players. And when games get upside down, like we've seen last night, fucking like constantly, I don't know. I think it depends on what tournament you're playing. I like to ignore it this year. I think it's helping people to ignore it. But
yeah. So on the Saints side for me, they've been struggling against the run. Historically, they've been a good run defense. Now going to be missing their best run stopper. Cam Jordan will be out. Linebacker Pete Werner's going to be out. They're going to be pretty fragile. Lattimore on the edge. I mean, there's definitely fantasy goodness. So I'm going to be building this multiple ways. I'm going to use Goff with pass catchers. It's, clearly Amon-Ra. The poor guy had a down game on Thanksgiving, 9 for 95.
I needed 5 yards for a plus 3,000.
Yeah, I mean, just tough when that's a down game for you. But look for him to bounce back, and then Jameson Williams snaps continuing to rise, which is very encouraging for him. We know he's a home run hitter. Campbell continues to speak very highly of him in the media. And then you have Laporta. I'm probably not going to spend up, but in golf stacks, I wouldn't mind using Laporta, but the Saints have been exposed in the middle of the field. So there's a lot of ways to build it. And then on the Saints side, with Carr in there, not necessarily looking to use Carr, but it brings Kamara into play for me, right? He's going to probably catch 7 to 12 checkdowns
for 18 to 22 yards. It's insane.
Yeah, but obviously brings you a nice floor if he gets in the box. Pretty good upside for Kamara. Then pick your poison in terms of pass catchers. If Olave, I think Olave is not officially out yet, so we'll have to monitor that. But you have A.T. Perry, you have Lynn Bowden, Juwan Johnson, 3.4K, encouraging. Saw 85% of the routes run out of the tight end spot last week. He is a red zone target if they get down there as well. So again, just a lot of good value to run back this game stack this week for me.
Yeah, Jerry, this is my worst nightmare, dude. I've been the president of the Rashid Shaheed is Tyreek Hill fan club. Talk about it every week. Just needs opportunity and targets. Fucking Michael Thomas is out. Olave might be out. I mean, this is the chance for him the rest of and he's going to miss last week and this week. I'm fucking livid.
I need him for best ball also.
I have him in all my seasonal leagues. So it's fucking annoying. Carry on, Jerry. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, with the Saints, I think the biggest beneficiary of all these guys missing, it's got to be Kamara. I mean, but the biggest problem with Kamara, Carr's in there. He likes to check it down to him already. We know that. He's going to see more targets. The problem with him is you got Taysom Hill, right? He's always in the mix. He's always got that chance of vulturing him at the goal line, which kind of makes him a tougher click on sites like FanDuel. He's a little safer on DraftKings with the 1-point PPR. I mean, if Olave doesn't play, especially if Olave misses, I mean, I love Kamara here. If Olave's in, I'm still going to play Kamara. I just don't know how much more I like him. And then if Olave was to miss, I mean, you got to look at these guys that Healy mentioned, A.T. Perry, Juwan Johnson. I mean, they're just so cheap, If you want to really gamble it up, I mean, Taysom Hill, he's always a tournament play. I mean, you gotta kind of just take a chance on Taysom. They're going to involve him. And the thing with Taysom also is if you wanted to use Carr, ever since they started using Taysom, is kind of capping Carr's upside. But Carr is cheap. You can kind of use the Saints as a cheap stack in tournaments, build it out with like Carr, Kamara, and pick one of these like cheap receivers, and then you can kind of build around him, right? You could build around them. You could jam in guys like Tyreek and some of these guys that we'll get to later. So yeah, Saints. I'm definitely interested in the Saints here. For the Lions, Amon-Ra is always in play if you want to use him. I really like what Healy mentioned with Jameson Williams, especially with Lattimore out.
Yeah,
and the game is being played inside on turf. It's like the perfect environment for the Lions to take some deep shots with him. He's like one of those low-owned plays that could win you a tournament. He all he's got to do is really bust one or two to the house. As far as the running backs go, I don't think it's a slate where I want to try to figure out which one of these guys is going to get the production. There's clear spots at running back that I want to get to here. So I think I'm going to pass on both of the running backs here, even though I maybe one of them could kind of get some good production, but I'm not going to try to sit here and guess which one it is.
No interest. Mike here, 2 top 10 rundies, and we have the Saints. You can't run on Detroit. So there's going to be opportunities for the Saints through the air, and Lattimore being out. I mean, they could get lit up by Detroit here.
Yeah, I like the running backs on the Detroit side, but at the same time, I don't want to guess and I don't want to play them with other options. And then the Saints, like I said, you can run on them. But then on the flip side, I don't really love passing teams against the Saints, but they're banged up, especially in the middle. And one area, even when they're healthy, you can exploit is the middle. You know, that really puts me on Laporta in that spot. And I don't mind Amon St. Brown just because other than Tyreek Hill, he's my favorite spend up, this week. But I don't like Goff at all, in this spot. And then I have a real tricky situation with Kamara because Detroit's good versus the run. And yes, but he's expensive, at 8,200. But Shaheed is out. Obviously, Thomas is out. Olave's trending to not play, but that enters door number 3. Jerry touched on him as Taysom Hill. I really like Taysom Hill, and I'm going to make a quick pitch for him here. Think about this. If you have a $5,200 receiver that plays in the middle of the field, Tommy's boy, Hollywood Brown, right? Or you got to beg for Pickens or Deontay Johnson for that same price, wouldn't you want somebody who has much more touchdown upside there, right? I mean, he's always alive. And if you have 2 eyes, he should get the ball every time on the goal line. Tim Tebow style. But I like the guy with the touchdown upside at 5,200 versus those middling receivers that play between the 20-yard lines. So banged up pass catchers, they're going to get innovative. I like Taysom Hill. He's one of my favorite plays in this game.
But opposite on that, I actually like to go down a little bit to like that 3,600 Jameson Williams and get that kind of ceiling yardage thing, right? With Taysom, if you don't get the touchdowns, you're looking at a 4-point outing, right? So that's just difference of opinion, different choice, probably different game style that you're playing there too. But Trevor, would you like anything here?
I think for me, this game is similar to that New England game. Some value on the receivers. That's it. But I think you're taking a stab at which one's going to hit. There's plenty of value this week. So, yeah, the Williams is fine. I do like Laporta a little bit, but I'm not on this game. All
right. Yeah, the problem with Williams is the volume. Obviously, that should tick up. We're starting to see his snaps tick up. The big thing about Williams, I had a max bet on him on Thanksgiving. I think it was over 33 and a half, and he had a 38-yard catch, covered it in one play. So you do have that 50-yard touchdown upside. I am starting my builds this week 100%. I think it's a must, and pretty good at these last 6 weeks with these lock. But I'm on Ross St. Brown, Tyreek Hill. Start there. There's such a gap.
Favorite spend ups.
It's easy, very easy to get to both.
It is easy to get to them. I know it's not going to be contrarian, whatever it is. But Healy, Jerry, you guys will know. I mean, wide receivers win you tournaments, right? With running backs, you need volume. You're trying to get 18, 20 points. You're trying not to lose at running back, right? Get him in the box, get me 80 yards and 3 catches, and I'm fine. I'm going to go win it with Tyreek Hill going 180 and 3 or something insane, right? That's how you're going to win the million. There's only 2 guys that we're spending up for. The spend ups this week, Keenan Allen may not even play. Cooper Kupp's a fucking disaster. Mike Evans is good, but he's not a 180 and 2 type ceiling guy. Waddle's not a ceiling guy. And then you get down to Tank Dell, who I told you at the beginning of the year would be a 7K wide receiver, and he is. But, I mean, it's Hill and Brown with a bullet up there at the spends up. So just, Jerry, I think you just lock that in and build around it.
Like I said, it's very, very easy to fit both of them in any lineup this week. So if you wanted to go that route, it's very easy to get there.
I mean, we saw Drake London last week go, 6 for 95 or some shit with Lattimore out on these Saints. So I think I'm on.
Yeah, the Saints defense is very beat up.
It's the secondary.
And the Lions they're going to come out swinging after getting embarrassed on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So
Lions D to boot is falling apart as well. I mean, look what they're giving up to the shitty Bears, like Thanksgiving to the Packers. Like their defense is cracking the air and they're going on the road. So think the Saints can put up some points.
Would be an amazing spot for Rashid Shaheed at 4,500. Mike, start you with the Jets, Atlanta. You get to talk about my boy Desmond Ritter and my New York Jets.
I
know
couldn't
this
wait
is the
to hear what you're
exact
going
game
to
you
say
wanted to
here. I
start.
mean, it's like two worlds collide. It's like ex-girlfriends being in the same room for Tommy here. You got Desmond Ritter. You got fucking the Jets. A lot going on here. I am going to go on record and say that the Jets are going to win this game. The Jets are going to win the game. I'm going to go on record and say it. Comes down to coaching, quarterback play, and defense. Both of the
we
coaches.
have two of those three are horrific.
Both of the
That's why
coaches
he wore the Jets jersey.
both of the quarterbacks suck, and Jets defense is good. I can't trust Arthur Smith on the road and Desmond Ritter laying points. Jets defensive unit. I mean, Falcons play a conservative style of offense. I like the Jets. I was on Breece Hall until I'm really hearing, he's pretty banged up, worse than the report even says.
He's playing.
I know. I have somebody close to him, and they're saying he's more hurt than, let's say, the average person knows. But my favorite play in this game is the tight end Conklin. I mean, they just Boyle just throws 5 yards to the left. If you look at his passing chart, it's like literally 5 yards to the left. And that's why I liked Hall a lot, but Conklin seems to be one of his main guys too. So I like Conklin at that price of 3,000 as a spend down.
Jerry.
This game is pretty simple for me. I'm completely out on anything from the passing attack on both sides. The only interest I have in this is the running backs. They're finally starting to use Bijan more in the red zone. He's scored twice the last 2 weeks. I think they're going to continue to give him looks when they get down there. Breece Hall, he says he's going to play today. We kind of have to monitor that. If he does play, I kind of have a little bit interest in him as well. I mean, you could definitely play the defenses. It's going to be a really ugly game. It just comes down to the running backs and the defenses of the game. The rest is there's no need to go to anything else on the slate. Nothing else. Don't even consider it. It comes down to the running backs and the defenses.
Haley, and your
maybe a Conklin. Consider a Conklin at 3K.
I don't know about that.
Haley.
I mean, I'm next man up starting quarterback for the Jets. So just pretend this game does not exist this week. Move on.
All right. Thank you. That helps us on time. Trevor.
Jets D. Ritter throws 3 picks.
Okay. I'm going to go the other way. I think the best play on the board this week is the actual Atlanta Falcons D. Tim Boyle is the worst quarterback to ever suit up in the history of the NFL. And people are going to start realizing soon how bad this Jets fucking line is when they see every single person in a jersey go back there and get slaughtered. I love the Falcons D this week. Boyle's going to throw 2 or 3 picks. He's going to get sacked 4 or 5 times. And I think that Bijan is I'm not playing Breece Hall. I never played Breece Hall. Breece Hall sucks. Bijan is a fantastic play this week, guys. I think we're kind of like rushing past it because it's the Jets D. As a Jets fan, we've been getting destroyed on the ground. Not like had a problem. 167 to Miami, 130 to Buffalo, who doesn't even fucking run the ball. 148 to Vegas, 84 to the Chargers with Fat Eckler, and 203 to the Giants. Then 80 to Philly, 139 to Denver, and 204 to
Agree,
K-State.
but why Bijan?
Well, he's the best back in the offense, and
I know.
Say it again, Tommy. Say it again.
He is the best back in the offense, and he's actually thriving with Desmond Ritter back at quarterback.
I mean, Ritter's going to rush.
Now,
Patterson,
Ritter's the best.
Algier.
The best bet of this game is Ritter rushing prop. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Ritter mark. It's the best bet of this game. One of the biggest problems Ritter was having was that he wasn't running enough, and he has that athletic ability. Coming out of the bye after being benched, he rushed 7 times last week for 30 yards. That's why he looked good. I think that 16.5 Ritter rushing prop is a fucking joke. So that's my favorite play on this. I love the Atlanta defense.
I like that.
And listen, Cordell Patterson's going to cause a problem for Bijan Robinson because they're working.
That's all I'm saying.
When it comes to the touches, yes, but when they get down to the red zone, it's all Bijan now.
Right. You got to remember, Bijan's still 6,700. He's going against a run defense is letting up like 130 yards a game on the ground, and he can catch 5 balls. So I actually I like Bijan in this. A good deal. Let's move over to Arizona Pitt, Mikey. What do you think here? Starting with you back to back. You ready for that?
Yeah, that's not a game I really love. I mean, from a betting perspective, I think Pittsburgh finally got on track when they got rid of Canada, opened up the offense. We finally got to see Pat Freiermuth, which was good for me in season long, but I didn't have any of them in DFS last week. And I think the nut lineup had him, right, Jerry? Is that accurate? Freiermuth was in the nut lineup?
Freiermuth was the nut last
Had
week.
to have.
Min price,
2,900.
smashed.
Yeah, and I remember when Pickett first came on the scene, Tommy, You were telling me that he likes the tight end, right? Is that true?
Yeah.
So maybe a
That's
big
why
back.
that's why we were hitting the Freiermuth props at the beginning of last year.
Yeah, I remember that. That was in the back of my head. So
Thank you for
I
that,
think you
Michael.
can follow it up. Yeah, I give credit where credit's due. I think you could follow that up with another good week here, Freiermuth, and let people guess on Pickens and Johnson, quite frankly, and then let the other group guess on Najee Harris versus Warren. But you know you're going to roll out your tight end to Freiermuth. So he's one of my favorite tight end plays this week. Pickett, I mean, dare I say it, just that price. I mean, I know he's not good and all, but at 5,000, if you want to spend up for Hill and Brown and play another big stud, I don't hate it in the spot. Arizona defense is really bad. And I like the concentrated volume on the other side of grabbing like a Kyler Murray and a James Conner. I mean, you just know you're getting all that rushing volume and all the passing volume, in two guys. So I like pairing them together, and you get a little different, the way you build your team.
Jerry.
I mean, yeah, the Steelers, they look like a much better offense with the new OC calling the plays. Arizona, it's a defense that we always want to attack. And I think the entire Steeler offense is in play here. I mean, a cheap stack of Pickett, Tommy's boy Pickens, your boy Freiermuth, and the running back, they're all in a good spot here. The way it's looking right now, Warren looks to be one of the highest owned running backs on the slate.
Really?
And I like using him here, but I think you could also use the Pickett, Warren, Pickens, or Freiermuth stack as a little bit of a core to spend up to guys like Amon-Ra and Tyreek Hill and CMC. They don't need much for you to get there in the tournament. So you can definitely use those guys. It's a spot I definitely want to use. I want one of these Steelers in my lineup for sure. On the Arizona side, we kind of have to monitor the status of Hollywood Brown and Trey McBride. If either one of them was to miss, we can go right back to guys like Dortch and Rondell Moore that we've been using the last couple of weeks as value, because they're going to be getting they're going to be getting targets. They're going to be getting production in this game. And if you're not going to be using the Steelers side, you don't have to run it back with one of these guys, but you could use them in one of your lineups.
Really?
Jerry, we're not on the James Conner revenge train. I mean, you're king of revenge. You're not going to go to Conner? No mention?
You know what? There's so many other running back spots I like on the slate. I couldn't even get to that revenge spot here.
Yeah. I'm kind of with what the guy said here. Obviously, the running backs here, I was on Kyron pretty heavily last week. Absolutely smashed this defense. And they've been smashed all year on the ground. But to Mike's point, it's, who's going to score the touchdowns, who's going to have the big production. Warren certainly looks way more explosive. I haven't projected right around 18, 20% on DraftKings right now. There are a couple viable running backs kind of right in his range. So I think the ownership will stay in check. So I side with him. He's kind of separating a bit in terms of target share. And I don't mind the Kenny Pickett stacks, but Freiermuth would be my preferred option. New OC certainly was targeting the middle of the field, and historically does not like to target outside the numbers as much. So I think that'll benefit Pickett a little bit, and Freiermuth will be the primary beneficiary.
I don't think Freiermuth's going to be highly owned either, guys. What are you guys saying? I mean, I think this may be a Pickett Freiermuth stack.
I think he's going to be owned.
I mean, we just named every game. I'm pulling it up now. I mean,
I would guess like 8 or 10. I mean, I really think we're going to see a lot of.
I'll pull it up here. Hold
on. Arizona's still the recency bias for not being good with tight ends. He's going to be a lot of.
You're looking at. Actually, you're right. I mean, on DraftKings, they priced them up quite a bit.
He's priced up. That's what I'm saying, dude. At tight end, if you're going to smash it, because I'm just looking at a build that I'm making right now. If you're going to smash in Tyreek Hill and Brown, you can make it easily, but you're not going to pay $4,500 at tight end or whatever it is. You're going to go down to the 3Ks because there's a few options. I'd say 8-9%.
He's kind of in the same spot as last week. It's the same.
Hold on, Haley, what do you have?
I have him like 4%. I mean, he's like,
wow, that's even less than I thought.
Yeah, he's just
4%. 4% owned.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Njoku 200 less is getting a good chunk of ownership, and then McBride just above him. Obviously, if McBride is
getting all the love.
If McBride doesn't play though, all that ownership is going to come down, and I think he'll get a good chunk of that.
I mean, even if he goes up to 9? I mean,
Yeah.
I thought he was going to come in at 9 or 10. You're telling me 4. I'm assuming just by your guys'
Well,
reaction to me saying he's under
600
owned, you didn't
cheaper.
think he'd be
600
there
cheaper
either,
than
right?
McBride. So if McBride was to miss, yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of that ownership push to him.
I mean, you're also going to see Taysom Hill be another pivot from McBride, right, at that 5,200 mark. So kind of that same kind of lateral move.
Surprisingly,
You do have-
Taysom Hill is coming in at like.
but you guys are telling me
sub-
Njoku's going to be what?
Njoku is going to
Njoku.
be about 18%.
Yeah, 18,
I mean,
20%.
I mean, if everyone loves Njoku and the algorithms must love Njoku, that's why he's going to be up there. So if they come off McBride at 4,900, wouldn't Njoku be the first stop below that at 41?
Yeah, I think
Joe Flacco.
It'll probably move Freiermuth up to 7, 9.
yeah.
It's really going to come down. It's going to come down to Olave. If Olave misses, Juwan Johnson is going to be like 30%.
Yeah, but it's not going to be Freiermuth. Yeah, guys, Freiermuth is now my number 1 tight end. Like that's if you're getting him at 5 to 7% owned, 100%. I'm going Freiermuth at 4,300. I'm probably, like Mike said, pairing him with Pickett. I have a little bit of a situation in a couple of my seasonal leagues this week. My quarterback's on a bye.
What about your boy Pickens? You love Pickens in a shitty matchup. You don't love him in this matchup?
No, I like him a lot. I think I like Pickens every week, even though, but he's the thing you have to know about Pickens is either going to get you 8 or he's going to get you 28, right? Like he's a GPP play pretty much.
I can see him getting like one on the ground. In this
I
raved about him in a shitty matchup. You got to be raving about him here.
Well, no, the reason I liked him in the shitty matchup is because he's going to be 0.5% owned, right? So it comes in.
Who's going to own him this week? No one's going to fucking own him.
I don't think he's going to be that. I think Deontay Johnson gets the ownership over Pickens.
I think Flacco will be higher owned than Pickett. How about that?
Than Pickett or Pickens?
Oh, Pickett.
He's talking about Pickens.
Oh, Pickens. I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought you said
Pickens. Yeah, I like Pickens. I just think when I'm building my lineup here, like this is one of those situations, Jared, when I liked Pickens that week when it was a bad matchup because I didn't think anyone else could do anything. Like literally that whole team against Cleveland had no opportunity. The running backs had no chance. The tight end had no chance. It could only be Pickens. In this situation, I could see Warren going off. I could see Najee Harris scoring 2 touchdowns. Yeah. I could see Freiermuth going for 80. I could see Deontay Johnson catching 8 for 80. Like, there's just a lot of opportunity here. So, yes, I like him, but I think I'm on the Kenny Pickett.
He's that leverage spot over Warren. You're going to fade Warren. You got to jam Pickens or Deontay Johnson in your lineup.
The bottom line, Jerry, is I've been saying this from the beginning of the year with 2 guys, with Laporta and Pickens. Like, he's the most talented receiver in the NFL. Like, his ball skills, he's probably number 1 in the entire league. So he always has that upside. It's just that they're going to get him the ball. Kenny Pickett and Freiermuth at a combined 9,400 is probably the way I'm going to go. I think that's probably going to make my main lineup. Let's Trevor, anything here?
Hi, Tommy. No.
Trevor, how you feeling?
I'm good. This game's fucking trash. A little free move. But I mean, whatever, free move. We might throw him in a fucking lineup.
Trevor, did you see
Vermouth?
Did you see Jackson Smith Enigma last night?
He got almost got a touchdown. I tell you what, I am keeping my eye on Dortch. Dortch is a sneaky play if some of these guys are out, but that's it.
We've been using them the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. Love
they came through for us.
Yeah,
you smashed him that 1 week, Jerry. But I don't know. I don't think it was on this show. I don't think it was on this show. I think it was on the Discord.
Because Michael Wilson got ruled out. It was the day after the show.
Right.
Michael Wilson got ruled out, and I was telling you guys on Saturday night, Rondell Moore season.
Yep. No, you smashed it.
And on the first play of the game, bam, to the house.
Right out the gate, right in my face. Yeah, I hated it.
Kind of trash.
It was money. I don't know if it was on this show or if it was on the Discord when Trevor called Jackson Smith and Jigba Jackson Smith Enigma. So that's
an enigma.
That's his name.
He's an enigma.
You know who we meant?
Yeah, Indianapolis. I'm watching Indiana right now. We have a bet on them. It's one of my max bets of the day. Up 15 with 5 minutes left. I'm literally betting college basketball on easy mode right now for all you video game players. This shit's just too easy at this point. Indianapolis versus Tennessee. I'm going to start this off with something to keep your eye on because I want to get it out before I forget it. I have a funny feeling. I don't know if he's even going to play this week, but there will be at some point between now and the end of the season. I know this isn't that bold. 5 for 105 and a touchdown game from Traylon Burks. So just keep your eye on it. Remember, I said it. Don't trust it. It's not one of my favorite plays, but just needed to get that out. Jerry, start with you here. I think there is some opportunity in this game.
Yeah, I mean it's the Zach Moss slate, right?
Right.
He's pretty much just a free square on.
He's going to be fucking what?
I mean, he might be in high dollar. He's might probably be 90%.
I mean, 4,600 against the time.
It's just very hard, very hard to get away from Zach Moss here. He's super cheap on both sides. JT's out. He's going to get all the work he can handle. Usually, chalk like this is something I go all in on. I never fade chalk like this. If it fucks me,
running back chalk is where I go all into. It's like fuck it, just give it to me.
This is chalk. I just don't fade it. If it screws me, I mean, it's not gonna kill you.
How is it gonna screw you? He's gonna score 12. You know, like that's literally your floor.
The only way he screws you here is if he gets injured.
Right.
All he needs is 9 points.
I love
10 points are good.
I love fading $6,700 chalk, like in that range. But like this 46, like he's literally $3,000.
Free square. Literally just
by fading it, you fade this on your third lineup, your fourth lineup. You know, you build I actually do, Jerry, like a Minshew stack with Pittman as a total leverage play.
You can use Moss in that stack too. Moss is cheap enough. He's not gonna. There's no way.
You're right.
Unless he gets injured, he's not gonna kill you. If I was making 100 lineups, he'd be in 95 of them.
And that's where the leverage is. Like if you're going to go with chalk, you got to overweight, right? You got to go over the field. If he's going to be 45% owned, you got to go 85. You know, that's
I mean, every opto out there is just spitting him out. It's very hard to get away from Moss on the slate. You got to get really.
What do you think his ownership? Do you think we're going to see like 60? I think it might be like 6. This may break a record, like 70% or something. Like
if you're talking about
GPPs, like you might see 70. I'm talking every tournament in America. He may be 70% owned, I think.
Yeah, he's going to be upwards.
What do you think?
Over 50.
Yeah, like Millie. I think there's a shot in the Millie. He's 60% owned.
Single entry 80.
I mean, he
85.
should be 90, 95.
No. This is going to break. Like, you never.
The higher you go up in dollar, the higher his ownership is going to go up because it's just super hard to get away from him. You start building lineups and you land on him. It's impossible to get away from him.
Yeah, especially with the other running backs on the slate. It's not a great running back slate, which makes it even harder to, kind of pay up to be contrarian in this. Anything else here, Jerry, like this game?
Yeah, I mean, like besides him, I think you could use Pittman or Downs. Pittman he's the one that's been drawing all the targets lately, but Downs is priced much cheaper than him, and he's just as good a spot as Pittman. Their Titans are, they're that run funnel. You always want to play receivers against the Titans, so you can definitely use one of those guys. And those are the only two that are really getting production. So it's going to be one or the other, maybe both. Who knows? On the Titans side, we were on Derrick Henry last week, and it worked out for us.
I was all in.
But it seems like he's just too touchdown dependent.
He's slow.
He isn't really racking up the yards. And now, at his price last week, I loved him. He's kind of priced back up a little bit here. I don't know if I'm going to be going back to him. I mean, I don't blame anybody for going to him. I don't think I'm going to get there. I do like DeAndre Hopkins here. The last time he faced the Colts, he went off on them for 140 yards. He looks to be coming low owned. I feel like they're going to be targeting him a lot in this game. So he's the piece on the Titans that I like here.
Yeah, Healy, I'm a little bit. I mean, Derrick Henry is, we had him all on touchdown prop last week. We were talking he might score 3, and he scored 2. Still only 18 carries for 76 yards. But we have entered December, right? So we are now in officially December to remember for Mike Constantino, the best 2 weeks of the year at 4Deep coming up. And then we have Derrick Henry December, which he rushes for 150 a game. Bro, he's not out snapping Tajay Spears by that much. He was out snapped by Spears 3 weeks ago. And the last 2 weeks, it's like 25 to 18. So,
yeah,
he's not breaking off those 40-yard touchdown runs like he used to.
Yeah. So last week, he was a fade for me, and touchdown.
It wasn't a bad fade, Brian. He got in the box twice, but he had 76 fucking total yards.
Well, and that's what me and the subscribers in Discord all Sunday morning were talking about. Smash spot. I was like, but he looks sluggish, doesn't look good. Like, is December not going to happen for him? Is he just getting too old? And is he not
behind the line? He's getting hit behind the line. He's not even getting a chance.
Yeah, we know this offensive line sucks. Like Levis isn't good, but he's under siege every single drop back. So there's no lane for him to run in.
And Siege is a big guy. You don't want to be under siege. Love you, Siege. the thing also in December to remember here for Derrick Henry, he's got Houston twice coming up over the next, 3, 4, 5 weeks. So he's got prime winter and a team he rushes for 200 for. So we're going to find out everything we need to know.
I mean, great spot. I mean, the Colts give up the 6th most fantasy points to opposing RBs all year. I mean, on paper, this is a great spot for Henry.
And it's one of the few games that Titans are actually, if you want to go game flow, 1-point spread, right? They're usually fucking a 9-point underdog. So,
yeah. But to your point, Treylon Burks, he's a guy I played like in the beginning of the season. I really like this kid.
I like his skills.
If he's in, I wouldn't even mind like running some Levis and Burks Hopkins stacks, running it back with Moss and Downs. I lean Downs to Jerry's point. Obviously, he's cheaper, but he's getting more red zone.
I don't like the Downs play.
You don't like Downs?
I mean, not at 5,100. I like Downs when you guys were playing him down at 3,700 at the beginning of the year. Bro, he's nowhere near
the ownership here.
Pittman, bro, it doesn't matter. He's nowhere near the skill set and production of Pittman. It's not even close. Pittman is so much better.
He is
so much more volume. But it's not 2K anymore. It's what 51. Yeah, it is 2K. 5,100, 7,100. So if you're 3xing that 2K, I need to get 7 more points out of Pittman. Like I don't even think it's close, dude. Pittman had 25 targets in the last 2 weeks. Kid's a fucking superstar. Hasn't scored scored less than 14 points since week 5. So you're getting 14.
You got to factor in that price. Pittman, I mean, his price has gone up now with the production he's been doing.
It's 2K though. I mean, like if Downs goes and
try to get to Pittman on the slate. Try to fit in Amon-Ra. If you're not getting to Pittman,
if you're trying to fit in Amon-Ra and Tyreek Hill, you're right. But in that situation, you're probably not getting the Downs either. Like 5,100 isn't cheap.
Much easier. Very easy to get to Downs here. Super easy.
Dude, he's just not as good. I mean, he's just not. He's just, the last 3 games, 9, 6, 2.
Downs can get 80 yards and a touchdown, and you're good.
I think is there a bet here?
I think there is.
I don't know.
There's a price. I'll tell you this right now. Jerry was smoking me. He was up like $2,000 on me or some shit. But I'm coming out strong right now. I had a good show. I actually got Jerry on Aaron Jones. I got a good show.
You got me on.
Tommy, stop doing drugs for the show.
You got me on.
No, I did.
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I'm on a good little run here. I'm on like a 2-game heater versus Jerry. But keep in mind, Jerry's a real man because Jerry didn't use the Aaron Jones injury excuse either, which everyone would have done. Meanwhile, I would have fired back with he had 11 yards at the half. But listen, we're there. There's no chance, Healy, that he does a point per dollar play Downs versus Pittman. No chance because he knows I'm right.
A point per dollar?
Point per dollar. Who's the better value? Point per dollar.
Downs.
Okay. It was 500.
500. Let's go.
You have no chance of winning this. None.
Downs for sure.
Terrible bet. Okay. We're in. I'm going to write it down this time because I think I forgot.
We got to write it down.
Haley, I'm with you on Burks, dude. I don't think.
You guys have all had enough airtime. My turn.
Let Mike talk.
This game, from a game theory perspective, is going to unlock the winner for this week. Number 1, you just touched on it. Everybody, including Jerry, is going to be on fucking Moss. Well, I'm going to pump the brakes, and I'm going to attack this 2 ways for super leverage spots. I will have some lineups with Moss, but I like a leverage lineup with fading Moss and playing Pittman. He's the only play. I agree with Tommy on that. I mean, he's very undervalued, under-talked about, target monster, connection with Minshew, and he's very good. I mean, I watched a lot of that game last week. He's a very good.
He's talented. He's fucking awesome.
Very good. But I like that as a leverage spot. If people are playing Moss, fade him, play Pittman. But my super leverage spot is to fade them both and play Derrick Henry. So now you're getting off of Moss onto Henry, which will give you some leverage if it falls correctly. And I'm also going to fade Pittman because like Vrabel at home, like for Jerry for a Mixon at home thing, like Vrabel at home is a thing. I could see this turning into a low scoring game as everybody's anticipating otherwise. And then Moss comes out of it with like 8 points, 4 points, 6 points. And the Titans, like D scores a touchdown and Henry has a big game. Now, historically, Henry does very well against the Colts. In 6 out of the last 8 games, he rushed for over 100 yards, and he had a dud earlier this year, and he's actually vocal about it. I watched some interviews, and he was saying that 43 yards earlier this year is disgusting, unacceptable, and embarrassing. because he had 6 of 8 games over 100. I think he's going to run hard here, and he's going to play into the Vrabel and Titans at home. And I'm going to be more fading Moss and leveraging these other guys.
Can I just throw something in? Can I throw something
Yeah,
in?
there you go.
There is no leverage fading Moss. You can play them both. Playing Pittman is not leverage off Moss. Moss is cheap enough on the slate. The only way you leverage Moss is to fade him completely and play another running back.
And play Henry.
There's no leverage to another Indianapolis
But
player.
you could.
Well, why
play
is that?
Henry
Gary?
and
I'd like
Moss
to ask you why.
Because Moss is so cheap. You don't need much from him.
Because
Pittman,
so let me
Pittman
explain
could get
this.
200 yards and a touchdown, and Moss will still get to
and you
it.
could still play him with Moss. Here's
There's no
the thing.
leverage.
I did a video on this. I did a
Well, I
video
think
on this
there-
back
I mean-
3 years ago.
I'm
I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why. The reason for this is Moss isn't chalk because everyone loves him. Moss is chalk because it's a mistake. This is it's a mistake that he's $3,000 too cheap. So there's a difference between fading to be contrarian and just fading for no reason. Like there's no reason to not, what do we start? 10 guys in drafting. There's no reason to not just cross this off and go 9 on 9, right? Because the bottom line is even if you do fade Moss, right? So if you're going to fade an 80% owned guy, which I will do 99 times out of 100, this is the one. If you're going to fade an 80% owned guy, you need to be able that if that guy flops, you win. If Moss flops and scores 9, those people still got 2x out of their play. So he would need to not only get hurt, but get hurt on like the first 10 plays for it to really kill those people. Because if a $4,600 guy scores 8-9 points, that's not crazy, right? Your tight end, if you're paying $4,600, score 8 or 9, so you're not dead. So yeah,
it's not just that; it's who Moss allows you to fit into your lineups.
And,
right? You're getting Tyreek, who can go for 200 and whatever. You're getting Amon-Ra. You're getting CMC. You're getting all these guys.
You're talking about a guy whose first 4 weeks without Taylor scored 21, 26,
Exactly.
36, and
all
9.
the workload.
The bottom line is if you
fraction of the
fade
price.
him, yeah, he may score 7 and you may get a guy who scores 18. But if he pops
Go back to what I was going to say. I mean,
if he
you
pops
can
for
get
24,
leverage.
you lose.
Yeah, but if you could get leverage, if you fade him and he gives you like a 5 or a 6 and you play another running back,
What are the chances
paired
that
with
he's
a
going to give you a
receiver,
5 of a 6?
and you produce more points out of the 2 people together, you know?
The guy had 18, 30, 18, and 23 carries in the 4 games without Taylor, and it's a fucking low
I
scoring.
don't think it's a bad spot. I mean, listen, I would love Moss too. Of course, it's a smash spot, but I'm saying from a game theory perspective,
No,
I'd much
this
rather
isn't-
fade him here.
No,
And I
this
can
isn't-
see a low scoring defensive like Vrabel type game,
which would mean he'd get 25 carries,
but they stopped the run pretty damn.
which means he gets.
All I gotta say is just go back to every Indianapolis game this week and give me one game where any Indian running back got 6 points.
Yeah, I'm with Jerry here.
Outside of a freak injury, one of those Aaron Rodgers first play injuries, he's getting you there. He's just going to get you there.
There's no, you cannot. And listen,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not arguing it. Of course, Moss is a play. I gave a different perspective, is all.
No. Listen, and we're not
Sure,
going after you. The point of the
In
show
that
is
game
to
log,
make sure.
Barry, how many games were on the road in Tennessee?
I mean, road, home.
I'm just asking how many were on the road in Tennessee. None.
Tennessee's not a great. Tennessee's not a.
You cannot fade the numbers. The numbers just point to Moss. You can't fade it.
He's projected for like 20 points and
I
probably
mean, of course, it's a
18.
chalk play. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and argue it. I mean, I like the play. I'm just thinking outside the box.
Right,
Jamal Williams, as chalk, did fail early in the season at
Yes,
Tennessee.
I remember that.
But was he in the same spot as this, Healy?
I would say no.
Because
I mean,
listen,
Well, maybe Kamara was out. I mean, you know.
yeah, correct. He was.
right. No, but at the same token, at that point, it's week 1,
If you're
right?
making- like I said, if
Jamal
you're
Williams
making a
ended
ton
up
of
being.
lineups,
We
if you're
have
making-
a guy here, guys. No, I'm not even letting that slide through. I agree with that. Yes, Jamal Williams did fade his chalk week 1. We have a guy who's already showed us
Long-time nemesis of Tommy, Jamal Williams.
5 times
Back
this
from the
year.
Green Bay days, Healy.
5 times this year has already showed us he can go for 100 yards in this spot. Jamal Williams, we didn't know what he was
The more
going
you're
to do.
excited about it,
with
the more I can't
Jonathan
wait to
Williams
fade him.
in the lineup. He did
Everybody's
it.
saying that.
Jonathan Williams' first week back, Zach Moss crushed the slate. Now he's got the whole backfield to himself.
No, this is.
But everybody's saying that.
Everybody's
Right.
right.
They're right.
Time will
everybody is
tell.
right.
Jerry, would you be happy if you got 11 points in this game? I mean,
Yes.
So let me ask you this, Mike. You fade
told me
because
you got 11
this is
points in this game, I'd lock him in every lineup.
this is an important conversation to have. That's why we're spending so much time on it. And
No, you're right. I'm glad you brought
Mike
it
is bringing this up because, dude, you got to remember who you guys are
It
hearing.
unlocks the game. Yeah, I mean,
There's no two more contrarian people in the history of DFS probably than me and Jerry, right? Like we
Tom and Jerry?
same
Tom and
shit
Jerry?
all the
See what I
time.
did there?
There's
Mike,
times, yes.
The
yes.
question I'll
There's
ask
good chalk,
because
good chalk, bad chalk. This is
here's what I'll say. Moss is going to score 12, and someone's going to go if he does do that, and someone's going to see you should have faded him. Who's the pivot, Mike?
Well, it's a player 2v2. I mean, and a 1v1. I mean,
so you don't want to do 2v2 because then we're going
But I'm
Moss,
just
Kyrie,
saying
Hill versus
that's
whoever
how
you
to
go.
get different. Is my
Well, what is it then? You got to tell me what it's going to be. Then you can't just.
I mean, I
here's
think
the
it'd
thing.
be an
If
exact
you're
without pairing them together on the cup. But I'll let you know. But
Everybody
it could be a show.
I'm not even saying that my position's correct.
Well,
I'm not saying that
Tommy,
I couldn't get there. I was just providing a different perspective of saying sometimes when everybody's running left, you want to walk right.
Not necessarily.
Yeah. I mean, it could be like it could be an AT Perry and a CMC versus, obviously, I think 90 out of 100, Tyreek and Moss outscore them, but there are paths that it could happen.
The point of this panel is to provide different points.
I'm just saying, Healy,
I'm not
if
even
you're
arguing
making 150 lineups, how many Moss do you have?
What's that?
I was asking Healy, if you were making 150 lineups, how many Moss do you have?
In the Millie Maker, I probably would have 147. If any other contest, I'd probably just lock them in.
Right.
That's how much of a free square he is. I'm just saying to the people who
it's the biggest free square of the entire year,
yeah,
especially on this slate.
Guys,
the other thing you got to factor in is the running backs on this slate, right? When you're looking at it, you got McCaffrey up there at the top. Kamara's fine. Mostert's got Achane back. Eckler, like they're outside of CMC. I want to pay up to be contrarian. So I agree with what you said, Healy. If I am going to fade Moss, I'm going like fucking CMC, right? I'm going to the fucking wall with it and going to hope I get a 3K receiver who pops for 12. But it's literally CMC or nobody. I'd rather play CMC and Moss than CMC and Perry, right? That's where I think
what Mike's saying.
But I get what you guys are saying. I don't agree with
Mike. Like I get what you're saying. Like with another chalk running back at a different price on a different slate, I get the fade. This one, it's super, super, super tough. You're putting yourself really short by not putting him into your lineup.
Yeah, let's go to Miami, Washington. Trevor, you're a Redskins fan. Talk to me here. This game's going to be an absolute shootout.
So I like Derrick Henry. Okay, wrong game.
Yeah. Did you have anything? For that game? We beat that game.
No, I'm all over that game. I'm game stacking it. Period.
What, the Tennessee game?
Yes.
All right, give it in. What do you got?
Minshew, Moss, Henry. I will play 3 lineups. I played the 3 entry max. I will have Henry every fucking week from here on out. At least
I do like what Mike said about Henry. I like that.
Period. End of discussion. He will break one of these slates.
I do agree with that. Henry in December is smart. So you're going with what Jerry said. You're going to go with the Minshew, Moss, and then a receiver either
Pittman.
Downs or Pittman.
Yeah, I love this. I love that game.
Would you go Downs or Pittman?
Pittman.
Obviously, right? Jerry's stupid. All right, Miami Redskins. Trevor, what do you think?
Listen, I mean, Hill. This game's. I don't want to say it's trash, but I don't have that much faith in Washington keeping up with Miami. Miami's going to get theirs. Hill's going to get his. But watch out for Waddle, man. He's sneaky in there. And there's got to be some conversations. We're going to have a Waddle game right here sometime here at the end of the year that breaks the slate. This could be it.
Week when he went for 114.
Yeah, break the slate. Not be good for your
life.
And
Waddle doesn't break slates.
Oh, okay. 2 touchdowns, $150.
When's the last time he's done that?
I mean, okay. I
Alabama.
heard it here first. McLaurin's okay, but he hasn't really been doing anything. Dotson's really the guy that could break the slate. He's a little bit of a boom bust, but I mean, okay, you want to go with Mostert, HN. I'm just not going to pick. I like other things on the slate. I'm not going to pick. Robinson's a fine play, but that's it. Really, really Hill and Waddle.
All right. Mike, what do you like here?
Tua is one of my favorite spend-up quarterbacks. I mean, Tua, you can never go wrong with Hill and my famous double stack of Tua, Hill, and Waddle that, we've hit the nut lineup on a couple times we played it. But I love Hill. It's Hill every week for me, and Hill's in my lineup right now. But Waddle at 2,000 cheaper, I mean, is very underpriced, especially for in this matchup. I'm expecting, Tua to have a big game. I'm expecting all the Dolphins to go off like always. Washington's defense is porous. Don't like it at all. I mean, I'm worried about the rain.
I was just going to ask you that, Mike. Miami and the weather up north. That makes me a little nervous.
I mean, Trevor, if it was a dry field, I mean, it's okay. But
right.
The rain scares me in all games. But at the end of the day, they're both playing in the rain on that surface. And Miami, at the end of the day, in my opinion, is a better team. I mean, Washington's a mess. But on the other side, though, I was on him last week, and I'm going to be on him again, is Curtis Samuel. 4,100 this week. I mean, he's coming off a huge game. I had him in that game, but he had, 12 targets, 9 catches, 100 yards. He's a good salary saver from everybody who would usually go to McLaurin, as the number 1 pass catcher. So it gets you a little different and you save a little money. So maybe to even to get ultra different, I'll play a lineup build. I'll start with Waddle and Samuel, like a little mini game stack there, and fading, say, Hill and McLaurin just to get different, and then put my other players around them. So,
Haley.
Kind of locks up with Mike as far as the Tua side. He's one of the more attractive quarterbacks on the week, and you got to love just the narrow target share with Hill and Waddle. And I agree with the Curtis Samuel run back. I'm kind of looking at him. I don't even mind Jahan Dotson, who kind of continues to get peppered. Hal's going to continue to throw the ball, like regardless of it, they're down. I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. He's like this generation's Blake Bortles.
Dude, Healy, I was just gonna say you were around in those days 6 years ago. I mean, Blake Bortles just came through every week, and
always cheap, always came through.
Always cheap. You're fucking shitting your pants in the third quarter because he's got 7 points, and they just scores 18 in the fourth quarter. But yeah, that's how.
Yeah.
No touchdowns last week, guys. No touchdowns and scored 21 points. No passing touchdowns. Scored 21 points. It's fucking unbelievable. With 13 rushing yards.
They're going to find ways to put points. And Miami's defense, they're getting a little bit healthier. But at home, I think Washington can at least keep scoring to where Miami's not completely checked out of this game. So I think this is a lot of interest. This backfield, it's just like the Lions, right? Like, do you want to pick your poison? I think this is a shot, not to say if you're fading Moss, but even to play with Moss, if you really want to get different, taking a shot on an Achane in tournaments, don't mind that play at all.
I like that, Jerry. It's like I said to start the show, jam in fucking Tyreek Hill and Amon-Ra St. Brown. The more I'm digging into this, dude, Tyreek Hill I'm looking at his game logs in like kind of colder, bad weather kind of environments. At Kansas City, 62 yards. He played home against him. At Philly, 88 yards. At Buffalo, 55 yards. At New England, 40 yards. It's a lot. 9,600 is a lot.
The thing with Tyreek is it's kind of the same narrative that we saw with Dak yesterday. You heard that narrative, like Jerry Jones is trying to get him the MVP. They're letting him
2,000-yard chase.
I think Tyreek's in that same boat. They're trying to get him to 2,000 yards. They're trying to get him the MVP. Like, he's deserving of it. He's had one of the best years ever for a wide receiver. I mean, there isn't much to say about this game that you don't already know. Pretty much everybody on the Dolphins is in play here. You can kind of pick and choose the way you want to use them. There's no right or wrong way here. Backing up Tua with Tyreek, with Waddle, that's definitely an option if you want to go that route. Or you can kind of just one-off Tyreek. You can kind of one-off Waddle.
I probably one off Tyreek here, right?
One-offing Tyreek is the way. Let's just say Tyreek doesn't get there.
Or Tua Tyreek, right? I think putting a Tua Waddle and Tyreek in a game where I know
Tyreek.
Some of us are fucking hammered right now, right? We're not. Debo Samuel. That was just me being fucking drunk.
It's Tyreek.
I'm taking a painkiller.
Hold on, I got to do a mango here. I'm going to use the seldom
mango. Go.
I have my leverage playoff Zach Moss.
Before you tell it, me and Mike have a rule because we just constantly fight and talk over each other. If anyone says mango, you're not allowed to use them offense. First time you've ever heard it. The other person has to stop dead and shut up. So Mike Mango.
Somehow Tommy found a back door and still took over the conversation. Even after
I gotta explain to everyone what the fuck's going on, dude.
He's
now
brilliant.
I'm gonna shut
He's
up.
brilliant.
Now I'm gonna shut
Okay,
up.
my leverage play off of fucking Moss, baby. Gibson. Antonio Gibson. Because he can catch a lot of passes in a positive game script if they fall down a lot, which they should. Same price range. First game back last week. Now, I watched that game, and I have Brian Robinson on my season long, and I was getting pissed because they were using Antonio Gibson. He was on the field in key situations, even when he didn't get the target or the catch. So it's not, reflective of the stats. But it was his first game back, and he got a decent amount of targets, a bunch of catches. This is going to be my leverage play off of Moss in the lineup I'm building right now. But carry on. I think Healy liked it. Healy ran to his fucking computer and his lineups and make it not coming. Thank you, Brian. You saw a face when I said, Gibson, he was like, whoa.
Ran to go jam in Gibson. Scarface, what were you saying here?
I was saying, Tyreek, you can one off Tyreek, you can one off Waddle. Any way you kind of choose, you definitely want a piece of this Miami offense in your roster. Playing Mostert or A-Chain, it's a way to get leverage off some of that passing game. I mean, Tyreek can get the yards. He can get down to the one. I mean, he's going to get his yards here. Who gets the touchdowns? I mean, that's Mostert or A-Chain could definitely get those touchdowns. You definitely want a piece of the Miami offense here. Same thing goes with Washington on their side. They're most likely going to be playing from behind. They're going to be forced into a passing attack. Either way, you can definitely use one of their receivers here, McLaurin, Dotson, Samuel. If you want to get really sneaky, I think Brian Robinson could be seeing a lot of targets out of the backfield. We saw him rack up 119 receiving yards against Seattle a few weeks ago, and that could be the same case here. Like Gibson, Gibson does come in passing downs and when they're playing from behind, but the same thing happened in Seattle, and it was Brian Robinson that got the receiving yards.
Healy, what do you think here?
I already gave my take on this game, but who is it?
Does that.
I mean, Mike's telling me Gibbs.
I have no idea. I'm drunk.
Jerry's telling me Robinson. Now I'm confused. Who is it?
I mean, we thought you
Tommy, break the tie.
We thought you just ran to jam in Gibson. In this spot, I'm not really. I don't hate Gibson at 4,500, especially if you wanted to do a double punt running back situation. That would be a spot that I would go. Pay $9,000 total for Gibson and Moss in that spot. I don't think it would be a pivot as much as the other back to stack the ever-living shit out of the rest of my team to get to a Tyreek Hill lineup or to get to 3 stud wide receivers. But for me, it's going to be the weather. I have to wait to see what the weather is going to be, because if this game is going to be somewhat clean and clear, I'm all in Tyreek Hill. But I think if it's going to be a little sloppy, I think you could. Tyreek Hill's going to come in at like 45%, right? I know they're destroying him, and I just said to start him in every lineup. If it's
so ridiculous when you watch him play.
It's insane.
It's
but you got to remember, at 10K.
Every week you hit him, and every week, bam, bam, bam.
It's so good. I mean, no matter who's covering him,
unbelievable.
you can all know it's coming. And
they're using him at the goal line. They're using him on 2-yard slants.
How about when he just gets that little quick screen and like 5 jumbo linemen get out in front? I mean, he's amazing. I mean, he really is amazing.
100%. But where the angle I'm coming from here is if the weather's going to be really bad, I just read you the road bad weather game spots where it's a little colder and he didn't do shit. His prop is 104. He's going for 2,000 yards. This is obviously a great play. But if I ask you guys for $600 less, if I fade Hill and go McCaffrey, Healy, if it's bad weather.
I mean, right now, Tommy, bad weather's going to be in both spots, to be honest. And it would be worse in Philly than it is in Washington.
That's good, but that's good for McCaffrey, right? Bad weather's good.
I just want to say, last week there was bad weather.
The Eagles' defense isn't good for McCaffrey.
Buffalo Philly had bad weather, and that game shot out. The weather, with good offenses, weather doesn't mean shit.
So Tommy, I think right now ownership projections has McCaffrey and Tyreek actually very close. In the smaller the field, Tyreek will be higher owned. He'll likely get closer to like 30, 35, where McCaffrey will be like 23 to 27. But I don't think you're getting a massive discount.
It's like my dating life. 23 to 27. Let's fucking go.
23 to 27.
Well, at least you're not Josh Giddey.
Fair. Hey, wait.
He's got a Epstein thing going on there.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm with it. Like, listen, I started the show saying Tyreek Hill. I'm on St. Brown. least head and shoulders ahead. Probably overthinking it a little bit, but at 10K, it's a little bit of a haul. And I think I'm going to be fading. We'll go to this game next, even though it's not next on the board, just for the easy segue. That San Francisco-Philadelphia game. I like Purdy a lot in this game. I like a lot of things in this game from the San Frans. I love Debo this week. Absolutely obsessed with Debo in this game. I kind of feel like CMC is going to come in a little bit lower than we think. I think a lot of people are going to go to Tyreek Hill. I think they're going to jam inside. I think a lot of people are just going to come off CMC and he's going to come down because you do have that 100% auto play in Zach Moss. So you have one position taking all the rest of the opportunity from it. But Healy, talk to me about this Philly game. This is your team. We're skipping over. We're going to come back to Denver, but there's a 4:00 slate game. Big game here where who goes off.
So I do agree with you. I think this is an interesting Purdy spot, especially for his price. I actually would prefer to pair him with Ayuk this week. I know I've been more on the Samuel wagon, but just the way that Philly plays defense and the way Ayuk has performed against some of the better man coverage defenses.
Ayuk's got the better matchup, right? Like it's a good match. It's a great spot for Ayuk.
Yeah, I mean, Slay and Bradbury, good corners on paper, but they've been getting beat. I know he's a little bit more expensive, but he's kind of, as you mentioned, most people are going to spend all the way up, go to Tyreek. Even St. Brown's not getting a ton of ownership, but then once you drop down into like that high 7K or low 7K, they're not getting much ownership there. So I do like Ayuk. As
this is a big, when Healy's saying it's a big stars and scrubs week, right? Like this is a big. There's a big 9K, 3K, 2-mans across the board.
You're gonna see a lot of Tyreek. You're gonna see a lot of Tyreek CMC. It's very easy.
If you want to make a real contrarian lineup, like we're saying, just take the free square on Zach Moss. But if you want to make a real contrarian lineup, pay for $6,000. A lot of guys up and down your lineup. And you're totally different than everyone.
Yep, that 6 to 8K range. Like I like him a lot. I do.
And those are always fun lineups. I'm sorry to cut you off here, but those are always fun lineups because even though you're not sitting on Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra, Christian McCaffrey at that price, you look at that. You just go through the list of those guys that are in that range, that like high 6. You're sitting on a lot of like Tank Dells, Swifts, Robinson. You still got guys that can go to fuck off, right? But your lineup's balanced the whole way through. Whereas, Healy may go get a Tyreek Hill and a Christian McCaffrey, but he also can get a 2 at Perry, right? So you do have the consistency factor on that. Healy, carry on.
Yeah, so for me, I do like Purdy. He'll be in my quarterback pool this week. Preferred pairing is Ayuk.
Is he the chalk this week, Healy?
Who, Purdy?
Yeah, is Purdy going to be highest on you?
Yes.
No, Zach Wilson.
Right? It's Wilson. Just shut the fuck up. Why are you being an asshole?
Sorry, Russ Wilson. Sorry.
Was that an accidental dig at me?
It was. It was.
Even when he's not trying, he's destroying me.
Purdy's like the second highest.
Yeah, Purdy and Wilson very close. But for a quarterback, both of them project to be like 15 to 70% owned, which is massive for a quarterback.
Pretty high, yeah. You get to 20 as a quarterback. That's unheard of, man.
Yeah, but he's consistent. I do expect the 49ers to score. I think this game plays very close to the total. Again, I think we have to just check weather. Early look, it looks like in game the rain could stop. Like it'll rain kind of leading in and then stop or lighten by the time the game actually plays. So I like him a lot. Got to monitor the Dallas Goddard.
You're an Eagles fan, Healy. Let's talk about this from a higher level. Eagles been getting absolutely skull fucked on the ground the last couple games out of nowhere. They were like a defense that was giving up 50 yards a game on the ground. Let me pull it up here. Since week 5 versus the Rams, 54, 89, 45, 84, 73. And then KC and Buffalo, who are comparable teams to San Fran, right? Super Bowl contenders, good teams in big games. 168 and 173 on the ground the last 2 games. Is that an aberration? We're talking some bad weather. We're talking like, or are you thinking Niners going to be able to just run through the Eagles with McCaffrey?
Yeah, I mean, we saw last week it was like first half, right? Pachenko kind of had his way in the first half, and then they made adjustments. And but I think McCaffrey will find success. Yes, I do. Whether it's via the ground or obviously he's.
I mean, that's listen, we're not that show. We're going to say McCaffrey's going to find success. Is McCaffrey going for like 170 all purpose, or Is he going to find success at 80 rushing
No.
and 30 receiving?
Yeah. I could see like a 90 and 40 game with a touchdown in there as well.
Yeah, it's not enough at 9K.
Yeah, I prefer the pass catchers with Purdy.
Who's your two
And then-
favorite plays?
It's Ayuk. And then it depending on Goddard. If Goddard is not in, I'm going right back to Devontae Smith. He is the receiver that benefits most with Devontae Smith out. Or sorry, with Dallas Goddard out. Yeah.
What's and honestly, like you're the Eagles, expert connoisseur. You got people are seeing you in a Jets jersey. They think you're a Jets fan. I saw some people in the chat. Now he's trolling me. He's fucking with me. Why do you even have that jersey? Did you order that just to fuck with me?
No, this is Tim Tebow jersey I acquired from. I believe this was from like Draft Cheat at a live final.
I mean,
we exchanged shirts.
No one's ever been fucked over more than him.
He took his jersey.
They went to the court and exchanged jerseys.
So Healy, you're talking about that. I know it's a thing, but I mean, it's been insane. Like the 2 games with Goddard out, fucking 99.
It was last year. It was last year as well. Every game.
Is it just those underneath routes that's?
Yeah.
Because you don't even see his target share. His target share doesn't shoot up. It's not like he goes to 12 targets. He just fucking produces out of his mind without Goddard.
Yeah. No, and obviously AJ Brown would just be talk about leverage plays. He'll be 4 or 5%. Obviously, he's been down recently, but has really excelled in difficult matchups. He's like been their guy in really tough matchups this season to produce.
This happened last year too. We forget. We so easily forget. Brown was a beast, then Smith was a beast, then one of them disappeared and someone was on the other one. AJ Brown for all the money this week.
AJ Brown. Mike, what do you think?
I like both quarterbacks are in play for me, especially Hurts on FanDuel. I don't mind the naked Purdy, but I do like all aspects of the San passing game.
I was waiting for the naked Purdy talk.
Debo, Kittle is a spend up. I know he's expensive, but one way I always attack Philly is the tight end. So maybe even a Purdy Kittle. I love McCaffrey always, but it's really hard to run on Philly. But then he adds obviously the aspect of pass catcher. So rather than me trying to again guess Kittle, Debo, Ayuk, CMC, I might even just go a naked Purdy. That's really it. I mean, I'll co-sign Devontae Smith. He does get those mid-range, those targets that are soaked up from Goddard. The thing I love AJ Brown. I think he's one of the best receivers in the league. He's big, strong, fast, great hands, everything. But he's a baby. I mean, when he don't get the ball, he fucking bitches. And we saw it like 5 weeks ago, but then we started to see it again last week. Like I don't like that at all for a team. And the Niners, when they're healthy, they're good. So I think you can get all the exposure too by just maybe even grabbing a naked Hurts. So it's either Hurts or Purdy for me as my main 2 plays, and I'll perhaps add 1 for each in some lineups.
Jared, finish us off.
How did we not get into like an hour-long discussion about Purdy naked talk?
Purdy naked, I already won that debate. It was genius. The best.
We'll do a DFS show, Tommy naked.
The Eagles.
I'm naked from the waist down right now.
That defense is banged up, man. They're coming off an overtime game. Like I think the Niners just handled them here.
Niners come out and skull fuck.
I hate to say it because I like the Eagles too, but I think the Niners win here.
You want 500 on this one? I don't even want the
Niners.
Point. I don't even want the 300.
He's smart enough not to bet.
I'll take a fucking $25,000 one.
Yeah.
Niners fucking smoke the Eagles.
Eagles win in January. Niners win now, right? Like it's simple.
It's a revenge spot for them
too. That's fair.
They're healthy. We're banged up. We'll get healthy for January.
You guys do beat them in January when they're playing Christian McCaffrey at their quarterback position because they lost all 3 of them.
That was crazy last year.
You guys should have got destroyed in that game. Go on. What are we playing here, Scarface?
Yeah, I'm on the Niners side here. I like Purdy. I like the receivers. I love CMC. Yeah, I mean, definitely you figure out a way you want to play them all. On the Eagles side, like he said, I'm on the Devontae Smith right here. With Goddard out, Devontae Smith's the one that's beginning the production. So for me, it's Smith over Brown here.
Anyone making your guys, because this is a big game, obviously. Let's go through real quick, 5 seconds. Scarface, who's making your main lineup out of this game?
Purdy.
Haley.
Ayuk, and depending on Goddard, it would be Devonta.
Mike.
I'm gonna have more Hurts than Purdy, but one of those two. Hurts on FanDuel, more so maybe Purdy and or Hurts on DraftKings.
Trevor.
Kittle and Brown are in the Millie Maker lineup.
Wow. All right. I'm going Deebo Samuel. I think he's going to come in at single-digit ownership. He's on a mission. They talk shit on him. When there's a big game, Debo's the guy. I think he's going to be 6% owned. And I think Debo gets in the box twice in this game. Let's go backwards to the 1 o'clock slate. Denver, Houston, Scarface. Start me off.
I really like the Broncos side of the ball here. They won 5 in a row.
Trying to make a drink. I'll be right back.
Texans seem like they've been in a shootout every week. Every quarterback they've faced lately has put up good fantasy production against them. I like the passing game here. I like Russ. I like Cortland Sutton. I think Javonte Williams is in play, especially on FanDuel, where he's pretty cheap. And all he needs is a couple of touchdowns over there. I don't think I'm going to be getting to CJ Stroud this week. They've priced him up a little bit now, and his receivers are kind of banged up. Dalton Schultz looks like he's going to miss. He missed practice. I think they ruled him out today too.
Yeah,
the Broncos defense also they've been playing a lot better. Dameon Pierce is back, so I'm kind of out on Singletary at his elevated price. If I was to use anybody from the Houston side, it would probably be maybe Nico Collins, or if I need a punt tight end with Schultz out, you can always go to Brevin Jordan as the backup tight end. But I like Russ in the passing game here the most.
I like it. Mike, what about you?
I mean, I watched Stroud play last week too, and he really is special. And I don't know if you guys saw the Raider report today that said that, the GM wanted to move up in the draft for a generational talent like Stroud, and Josh McDaniels overrode them and wouldn't let it happen. So he's a real loser, that fucking Josh McDaniels. Huh? I'm a real loser, but Stroud is fucking good. I watched him play, and he's really good. Really good pocket presence. He's got playmakers all around him on the field. But to Jerry's point, I don't want to spend $8,100 for him, this week. You know what I mean? You get a lot of volume and exposure with Singletary. I mean, he's the premier running back now. He completely took over and he catches the ball. I think he's been lacking there. And I think we can see maybe like a sneaky, good game, but he got 7 targets last week. So they might want to work him back into it. The game script, I do think this is going to shoot out a little bit here too. Houston's line's a little banged up on both directions. And Wilson's a little bit chalky at quarterback. I hear a lot of people talking about Russell Wilson. Javonte Williams could be a little sneaky here. Even a little leverage off of Danger Russ. But probably Singletary would be my favorite play of the game.
All right, who went first? I just got back.
Tommy, it's your turn. What do you like here?
Jerry, did you and Healy go?
Jerry went. Mike went.
All right, Healy.
Trev, what do you like?
All right, thanks, Brian Healy. So, Tommy, I'm going to take this one over. I'm on the running backs and only the running backs for this game. I like Singletary. I like Williams. If you get to a lineup you fucking love and you got to punt something, I am Jordan at tight end. I love just throwing him in there on a lineup you fucking love because he absolutely could go for 25, 30 and a touchdown.
That's not 2,500. Listen, there's going to be situations where when you get down to that nut low, 2,500, it makes sense, right? If it's going to get you Tyreek Hill or Christian McCaffrey, that's not horrible. Yeah.
But I like both the running backs a lot, Singletary and Williams. I think they're both in good spots. I think they could have really good games.
Haley.
Yeah, so this game right now is like haunting me a little bit. So I'm going to watch.
Dude, I'm with you, Haley. This game's a problem for me.
Right now, I want to completely fade it. Like it is getting a lot of ownership, and
a lot of Denver ownership, probably, right?
Yeah, I think it has a good chance to underwhelm because the problem is Denver, if the game's neutral game script or have a lead, they just their coach, he just wants to freaking run the ball. And they don't run the ball efficiently. They don't run it well. They're just going to hand the ball off and be content to go 3 and out, maybe get a first down, and then punt the ball and just grind the game out. If you're playing Russ Wilson, like you need this game to kind of go back and forth. And this Broncos defense has been playing extremely well. I know Stroud's been playing very well. He looks really good, but a lot of it has been against mediocre to below average defenses. Carolina pass defense, a good defense. He couldn't do anything against them. We'll see. He is at home here. But as of right now, I'm on the stance of not getting into this chalk game. The running backs, as Mike pointed out, would be the way to attack them, especially Denver. Like, even outside of that Miami game where Achane and Mostert scored a zillion fantasy points, they're still the worst running defense against opposing running backs. But I'm just not confident that Singletary is going to get like a massive share of the volume here. Like Pierce came back, and I think his load will increase to get to like a 50-50 with him there. I don't think Singletary is going to be an every down back. So it's hard for me to even play him at 5,900. Brevin Jordan, as you guys pointed out, at 2.5, steps into a good role that Schultz had. He should assume pretty much all those snaps. So I don't mind him, but as of right now, I'm not going to play too much into this game, and I'm a little bit weary about it.
I'm actually in the same spot as you in this. So I could look at this and say, hey, there's a lot of opportunity here. You guys know I'm the president of the Tank Dell fan club. On him first week of the season, said he was the number one, said he would be 7K, 7,400 first week. Thank you, takes a bow. But 7,400 is a lot. It's like we're talking like close to Amon-Ra price for a guy who does, I love him to death, but he does get 50 yards every other week, right? Like he's not a lock for fucking 10 catches. And he's questionable right now. So if you look at Tank Dell, 50, 149, 56, 114, 16, that's not 7,500 to me. Like Amon-Ra, 8,500. I'll find the $1,000 elsewhere. Nico Collins, 7,000. No. Cortland Sutton, obviously, another guy who I liked coming into the year. He's just, I mean, what's his ceiling? He hasn't had 100 yards once all year. He has a ton of touchdowns, but he's basically 6 for 65 and a touchdown. Right? So he's going to go get you 16, 17 points at 5K. It's a good play. Fine. Doesn't excite me. The running back situation, I'm actually with Healy. I know people are looking at the 80% snap share of Singletary last week and 18 or 20%, I think it was for Pierce, right? It was like 80-20. But that was first game back, right? Like I do think Singletary, I'm a little higher on Singletary than Healy, where I think he's going to be 65, but he's not going to be 85-90. It's that Pierce is going to start to work his way back up. Don't love Javonte, Russ at chalk. I'm not getting there. There's not a person in this game on my main lineup. Not one. But they're all good plays. They're all fine. Carolina, Tampa Bay. Jerry, talk to me.
This is kind of like the nut spot here for Rachaad White.
What the fuck is that?
Panthers run defense is it's one that we always want to target.
Fuck you, Tommy.
This could be like a big spot for him right here. He's going to be one of the highest owned backs on the slate, but for good reason. If you wanted to fade him, I think Mike Evans is kind of good leverage off his chalk. He's projected to come in at low ownership because of his pricing, but he's a guy that he can easily catch like a touchdown or two in this game. And Chris Godwin looks like he's kind of banged up a little bit too. On the Carolina side, we're finally seeing Adam Thielen's price come down. Along with like all the injuries on the Tampa Bay defense, I think this is a spot where you can kind of go back to him right here. Carolina.
I like that, Jerry. I like that, especially coming off. One of my favorite things is playing guys coming off an outlier horrific week, right? Like,
yeah, and they
go to the box scores, see 1 for 2. He's 66.
Everybody's off of him. Tampa Bay defense, they got injuries left and right. Yep. I mean, we've been attacking them anyways, and now they got more injuries, so you kind of have to pick on them.
And they're a pass funnel defense, right? They're not as dominant versus the run as they've been in the years past, where they were number one.
They've been giving it up every week.
They're still top 10 against the run. So
they're also going to be without their 2 tight ends. So Hayden Hurst is out and Tommy Tremble's out. I think you can also throw in some of these cheap Carolina receivers into the mix if you want to go through
Mingo.
Yep, Mingo, Chark. Terrace Marshall. I mean, these are some punts that you can use in tournaments.
Yeah.
I think Mingo is my preferred guy, but you can kind of go to any one of these guys. They're all in the 3Ks.
Yeah, that's the part, dude. Kind of lose me on. I do like the Thielen at 6,600. I think if you're building that balanced lineup of those 6K guys, the perfect guy to put in there is one of them. A Thielen, a Debo, guys like that. I just can't trust Bryce Young.
They're making a point to get Mingo involved.
I mean,
Come
listen, he's
Come on.
he's my guy. I'm in every
I know.
season league. I love him, but it's so
obvious what they're doing.
I know, but it's
bust
like
something.
he's not going to score a touchdown, and he
Okay.
can go 1 for 5. Like I'm fine with it.
I could only get laid twice this week, but that ain't
Maybe
fucking
Jameson
happening.
Williams or Perry or someone like that.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Healy, what do you think here? You have a couple 3K punts that you've mentioned already, and Mingo is a super talented guy who has seen 6+ targets in 3 straight games. He's also managed no more than 10 points and averaged 6 in those 3 games because Bryce Young's a bag of shit. Do we take a shot on a Mingo or a Charker?
No. I mean, only chance of moving the ball here is just pepper the shit out of Thielen.
Yes.
Just like Pittman, and it's underneath and across the middle. That's what Pittman and Downs did all last week. All their success were those routes that Thielen runs. It's not the Mingo deep shots. That's not what
Mingo lives on the sidelines, jump balls and fades. And,
Correct. So for me, it's Thielen only, and then as our con man likes to point out, Rashad, Rick.
It's Rashad,
Rick
Brian.
White.
It's Rashad.
He was listening.
All right, perfect. Rashad White, phenomenal spot. Really good play. 6,300.
Is he going to be like crazy chalk, Healy? Is Rashad White's the guy I want to put in with Moss in my lineup?
He's one of the highest on the slate.
Yeah, he is.
I would imagine.
He's actually, you have him. He's probably around 30. Stevenson's probably around 22, 23. Javonte Williams is around 23. Jalen Warren's around 18
That's like
to
5
20.
backs everyone's playing.
Yeah, all down in that 6,300 and below. Anyone above that until you get to McCaffrey. So Rashad White, great spot here. Carolina defensive scheme is like drop 8 to 10 guys back in coverage and just let the team run on them until they get to the red zone and they try to button the screws.
You can't even fucking say, you can't even go out and say they're tanking for the number 1 pick because they don't even have it. It's the Bears, right? So they don't even have their number 1 pick. So it's literally like they're just this bad. Like this is the team who recently in the last few years has had Ron Rivera, the fucking idiot who's at Nebraska now. What's his name? Rule. I mean, like every fucking coach in person. The one guy they had was who was it? Who was the black dude who was the interim coach last year?
Steve Wilkes.
Wilkes. He was actually great, and they fucking let him go. Like they're a retarded fucking franchise, and I don't understand what they're doing. Everyone is 10 yards off the ball at the snap. It's fucking insane. It's like they're playing a prevent defense to start a game. That was my rant. That's all I got. No one wants to talk. Okay.
Come on, host. You're the host.
I thought Healy was still going.
I hate talking.
I want to let Healy finish.
I mean, Bucks D is a great correlation play with Rashad White this week. Carolina's offensive line, very bad to begin with, now are going to be missing additional offensive linemen. Young is averaging it's like 4.8 sacks per game. I mean, you're basically starting with 5 points plus the points they give you for points against. Like at home, can't argue much about this Bucks defense as a good DFS play this week.
Bryce Young is so bad. The owner of the franchise came on and basically said he made a mistake, Mike. Did you hear him? Did you hear Perry or Purdy or whatever the fuck his name, the owner? He was like, well, hey, we were planning on getting Stroud. Like we thought we were getting Stroud. But then, hey, we traded up and I agreed with the guys and we ended up with Bryce Young, who I'm behind 100%. But I thought we were getting Stroud.
They're heads and tails players, but a good segue into me. I love the correlation of the Tampa running game versus anybody passing against Tampa. Absolutely smashed it in the last couple of games against them, but they're even more banged up now than ever. I remember in this very spot 2 weeks ago saying that, they're banged up the middle linebacker, safety, et cetera. And they're not good against the pass. I think that this might be crazy, but Bryce Young at 4,900, he has running and rushing upside.
Stop it.
I have a lineup I'm looking at right now with Bryce Young, Thielen, who's one of my favorite plays of the week. He had a bad game. He's priced down. People are off him. And I actually like DJ Chark. He's very explosive. I watched him. I think he's going to get an uptick in targets. And I can see Carolina having to pass a lot. So at 49,
they always have to pass a lot.
I know, but this is against Tampa. I'm saying it's a situational game, a divisional game. I just have a sneaky feeling here.
I'm with you, Mike. I'm with you on this one. I like this one.
I'm going to give you two both a piece of advice. Mike, please just put Bryce Young on the lineup that you fade Zach Moss on. Just throw all
Actually,
the
he
garbage.
is. I'm looking at the
Just
lineup right
throw
now.
all the shit and put it on one lineup.
You want to hear the lineup for fun? Because it is a fade.
Yeah.
Bryce Young.
Montana,
But it's a
right.
fade leverage lineup. Bryce Young,
Yeah, leverage.
Derrick Henry, Rashad. Don't call me Rashid White, even though I have 2 A's at the end of my name. Waddle, who's the leverage like play off of Hill. Amon St. Brown, Adam Thielen, Conklin, who I think is going to get a ton of volume and targets, like I said in that Jet game. Chark, as mentioned, and Tennessee Titans D, which is again a little leverage play off of Moss, Pittman, all that whole mess in that game.
You
Just
break
light
the
that-
internet if this
Light
wins.
that on fire.
Man,
But
how
the
much
million-
salary is left on the table with that one?
I mean,
300.
dude, if you're talking about Bryce Young, Shark lineup,
300.
Aaron McCaffrey, Amon
It's
Ross,
the milli maker on DraftKings, Tommy.
Yeah.
But one
I don't
dart.
mind it.
You know what I mean?
don't mind it. I kind of like it.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. That's the worst lineup I've ever heard.
I imagine the best marketing ever for this company if this lineup wins, and you guys are all fucking.
They would actually-
I'm with you. I told you. I'm with you.
People
I'm
will
with
vote for the milli maker with a full explanation on why I made every move.
I would go as far as to say
Everybody
if that,
wish that I win.
if that lineup won, it would hurt our company if you won $1 million with it.
I gave an explanation
People
and a reason for every play, though, Tommy.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
listen,
not
I gave a reason why I
I
fucked a
could
fat
be
shit. It doesn't
wrong,
make
but
it
I
fucking
gave a
right.
reason for every play, and it makes sense. Somebody here debate, other than Tommy's square on my screen.
You want me to
somebody
debate?
on
All right.
what's the biggest
Bryce
weakness
Young
in
is
that? Their
a
leverage
bag of
plays.
shit who
But
has
it's
no rush.
4,900, Tommy.
He has- all right, well, fucking.
What if he rushes for 2 touchdowns?
Wilson's
and throws
4K.
one?
Are you going to play him? He's not playing. Dude, he's not going to rush. He doesn't run. That's the thing. You're talking
Yes,
about
he
rushing
does.
upside.
Tommy,
No, he
does.
doesn't.
Hey,
You gotta start watching.
hey
Go
guys,
on.
Bryce Young or Desmond Ritter? Who you playing this
Ritter.
week?
I'll take Young over Ritter.
I'll take Bryce.
I mean,
Whoa.
I might take Young over Ritter. In this
I wouldn't take my mailman over fucking Desmond Ritter.
Dude, Bryce Young does not run.
Bryce Young sucks. But I mean, again,
The
it's
average
the
is
Carolina
tall.
passing
I gotta say,
defense
I'm
against
with
the
Mike
Tampa
on this
defense,
one. Mike,
Tommy.
I'm with you on this one. You're right.
Gary, my man, up there.
Just
My
I'm
man.
with
because
you on this
someone
one.
else
I
has
don't
a
mind it.
retarded
I don't
issue
mind
on
it.
this.
Tommy, you got to
doesn't
think
make it right.
outside the
When you
box.
start-
I mean,
when
it's
you
a
start
milli
kind of
maker.
building. I don't think you need to triple stack them, double stack them. You go like Bryce Young, Adam
It's
Thielen.
Bryce Thielen, and that's it.
I'm saying like you put
wanna
Bryce
do that,
Young and Thielen, and look at the lineup you built. It's not bad. I mean, those guys connect for a couple touchdowns.
Yeah,
You're in
let's
good
go.
shape.
all right, if you
Let's
want
go.
it, you can't put Shark. You can't put another.
I just put it in because I had no problem. I could swap them out. I'm not standing
You
and
should
dying
have
on the
so
old
much
chart.
money.
But at the
Listen.
end of the day, I needed like a 3,300 receiver, so I'm not going to take Marlon Mims. I'll take the guy to coordinate my quarterback. and hope that they're in a big
Mims.
script, and I get all the
Okay,
touchdowns. Right.
all I'm saying is
Fucking Marlon Mims.
you're taking a quarterback whose season high for passing is 247.
Tommy, we're talking about a dart throw in the milli maker.
Oh,
One,
fine,
Yeah,
I'll
this
put it,
is
bro.
this is like a million
Shit
maker.
lineup.
I'll
No,
take
that's
it.
I just entered in the milli maker. One dart. That's it. I have one lineup, and I just fucked about. Just
That
because I got
doesn't
it.
mean
I
it's
got to
still
build off
money.
of Moss just because I can't.
I can give
I
you
win that
a
Zach Moss
plus
is gonna come down to-
20,000 touchdown parlay with real humans. That is a better use of your $20 than that. You're
$18.
rich, Mike. You're rich. You can throw fucking
$18.
$20 on the worst lineup in the history of this show.
Well, I
And
did.
you're a
It's
millionaire.
$18. It's a fucking dart throw.
Like someone else. They're on
It's one
point.
drink at the bar
No.
plus tip for a waitress at this point. I mean, come on.
I mean, dude,
It's a lap dance.
I just had a drink.
Guy
It's a lap
rushing,
dance.
rushing upside who's rushed for 16 yards a game with no touchdowns on the season. Huge rushing upside.
I
Right.
win. If I'm right, I win.
We've put hundreds of girls through college, just so everyone knows. This is where the 4Deep charity that lap dance. Go to college, get an education.
Go
Like,
give that $18 to a stripper and see.
I did. I did.
Yeah, instead of putting that in a milli maker.
No,
Jerry,
dude.
you're agreeing with this fucking nonsense.
I don't hate it. I got to be honest. I don't hate
Neely,
it.
thank God you exist. This fucking kid now.
I almost want action. I almost want Ritter over.
All right.
Oh, we got
Me and Hill are going to do this as a team. We're going to split this because I don't want to go
Dog
500 on this, but I'll go 250. Me and Hill will split this as a team versus you two retards.
I don't hate it. I like it.
Oh, we
Me
want
and
to
Hill,
put
me
Ritter
and Hill are go
Hill,
Ritter. Well,
head
Hill,
versus
you in
Ritter.
on me for 250 each.
But you're
Ritter
missing
Yeah,
the
man.
point. We would have.
We're setting
Mike,
up a
Mike,
We're setting
let's
enough
nail
talk.
him.
Enough talk. This isn't the view. Me and Healy are willing to put up a joint 500, 250 each. Ritter versus Bryce Young.
Straight up DraftKings points.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
do
in.
that.
Correct.
I'll do that. I'm in on that. I'm in on
I'm
that.
in. I'm in.
Let's go,
Ritter.
Healy. Let's go. Ritter's
Let's
going to
go.
rush for 100%, Healy. Book that.
Oh
my
my God, Bryce is gonna crush them.
Ritter versus Bryce.
I'd rather Joe Flacco than fucking Ritter. What does that tell you? He can throw a deep ball, bro. Amari Cooper's going to eat.
I'd rather Joe Flacco than Bryce Young.
Hey, Joe
Jerry,
Flacco.
I'd prefer you don't talk about this garbage play anymore, but if you'd like to, please.
This
please.
is a fun play. I like it.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Thank you, Scarface.
I'm with you. Here.
Fantasy champion multiple
I'm with
times. Thank you for your knowledge.
I'm so disappointed in you, Jerry. Trevor, what do you think? Break the tie.
What are we
Trevor
talking
Phillips. I
about?
thought you fall asleep.
What are we talking about?
Trevor's like Ray Charles.
Blonde
Hey,
or
looks like a blind.
blonde or brunette? Ass or tits?
Trevor's checked out.
What am I breaking the tie from right now?
Dude, it's like a 38% chance we just woke Trevor up.
Listen, I've been focusing on. I was just told the strip club stripper dance is now $50.
All right, let me quiz you on this. What were we just talking about, Trevor?
Tits or ass?
Before that,
Ritter. Oh no. All right, Ritter. Is he gonna fall over? Yes, he's fucking trash.
right?
Or that other guy. That Carolina guy. I know. See, I pay the fucking attention.
Bryce Young, yes.
I pay the fucking attention.
Trevor, you nailed it. You nailed it. That was way better than we thought you'd do.
I
Trevor,
pay
you got
the
a sneaky
fucking
retard
attention.
in this game.
Either way, he agrees with me and Jerry.
I mean, that's going to be a
Trevor,
negative.
what up?
Ritter is fucking
Me and
trash.
Neely are like fucking cheering.
Trevor, what
Trevor's
up?
on your side on that. Yeah.
Ritter.
Trevor, you got a weird play in this game?
No, this game is fucking hot, fucking garbage. I mean, that's a white. I mean, whatever. It's a garbage.
It's way.
Can we
Guys,
talk about the irony of Tommy and Healy betting us against the Jets? Against the Jets.
Yeah.
This one's wearing a Jets jersey. This one's got a fucking Al Bundy helmet and a Joe Namath behind them, and they're betting against the Jets. I mean, come on.
Listen,
How
the
could you
lunar
possibly start-
eclipse blood moon has happened where me and Healy, the last show, I think we broke a few records.
Only Desmond Ritter can do this to you guys.
They're
I mean,
forming
I think
Voltron.
the Jets with all that Jets memorabilia back.
Listen, we're coming off the last show where we had a great show. Me and Healy just fought from start to finish. I was on a painkiller and just fucking pounding on him. Little pussy ass was like, man, he was scared, beating on him. Comes on this show wearing my team's jersey. And me and Healy, this was plus 500,000. If you said, hey, in week 13, Healy's going to wear a Jets jersey, I bet with Tommy G on Ritter. So cash that fucking prop. But
Hey, nice background, Tommy.
that's right.
Hey, nice fucking background, Tommy.
Everything's beautiful.
I would fucking piss on that fucking wall. The
We're
Jets
that
are
confident.
so
We're that confident.
Yeah, that's how you honestly. That's the reason you should.
I would
Me and Healy,
piss on that
this
wall.
never happens. So last game,
Jets are
the
gonna eat against Ritter, bro. You should know better.
Jets defense quit, bro.
Yo,
Have you seen
all of a
Sauce
sudden,
Gardner?
Desmond Ritter's
Need
gonna
another
solve
fucking drink.
the passing offense against the Jets. The Jets, if anything, they can't stop the run. I agree with
Did
you.
we even talk
He's
about
got
that?
fucking Randall Cunningham, and he's sure as shit not going to be able to pass on the Jets when other great quarterbacks couldn't. So you're fucking drawing dead with
I
that.
don't remember talking about that game, did we?
Yes.
Ritter will
Oh,
get the
it's-
rushing yards, though. I really do
It's
like
fantasy. It's fantasy irrelevant, but it's important for our bets.
Pretty much is fantasy irrelevant in that
He's
game.
going to be
we
running
did beat
around like a
John and
little
all that.
bitch.
What I will tell you is last week I told you Boyle is no quarterback can succeed behind that line. We bet Jets punt and won 7 straight in the first
fucking
half.
crazy.
Literally,
That
it's
was
gold.
hilarious.
So on this week, we're going to do it again. What you're going to do, guys, if you gamble,
Hilarious.
Tim Boyle has no chance. If Zach Wilson can't
Isn't
succeed,
that a stone under? Isn't that a
he's a-
stone under?
Dude, what are the odds
Yeah,
going to be
probably.
this week, Tommy? After
No,
you
it's gonna be the
led
same.
hundreds. You think
Dude,
so?
we were killing them so
You were-
hard on Jets punt at 4Deep. They took it off in the second half. They stopped letting us bet it. It was insane. But you're going to bet Jets punt minus 150, 60, what anything, minus 210, whatever the fuck it is, bet it. And then you're going to also bet a fifth of that on turnover on downs or turnover plus 600. Dude, we were just slot machining that shit the whole entire day. Tim Boyle has no chance if the great Zach Wilson had no chance. Let's go to Cleveland and the Rams. Kyron Williams was one of the leaders on our betting slate last week. Obviously, DFS slate. Who was that? You, Healy, who was all in Kyron as the number one play?
Yep.
Tommy,
Yeah,
would you like to
so-
trade? You want Kyron Williams? Get the fuck out.
Yeah, I
of
did
here.
want Kyron Williams trade
The
deadline
fuck
past 2 weeks
outta
ago.
here. Tommy tried to break me.
41.4 fantasy points for Kyron Williams against Arizona.
Ty
Guy
Williams.
who could do it through the air, on the ground. Actually, in our touchdown parlay, me and Hoffman, we put Kyron Williams in it. Someone mute that guy, Benny. And I said he was going to get it through the air. So a lot of people are going to avoid him, Healy. You were the king of the Kyron Williams fan club last week. A lot of people are going to go nowhere near him this week. Terrible matchup versus Cleveland, et cetera, et cetera. This dude eats through the air. This could be it's a price, what, 1% owned? We're looking at a dude who had 10 targets and 7 targets back to back against San Fran and Cincinnati, two decent defenses in week 2 and 3. You could be looking at 6 for 60 and a touchdown through the air alone again in this game, right?
Yeah, Browns have a little bit of issues defensively. They are going to get Myles Garrett in. Denzel Ward will be
He's not
out.
a worry versus the run anyway.
Not necessarily worth the run, but Stafford absolutely is
strength
dog
is
shit against when he's under pressure. So
Against
it just
anyone who
brings
doesn't
it
suck.
a little bit of a different element. But you're right, Kyron Williams. He should be anywhere from like 5 to 7% this week.
I think that goes down even. I mean, dude, how many lineups do you make, Healy? Actually, you like Kyron Williams. Scarface. If you made 50 lineups, how many of them have Kyron on it? Assuming you're going 100% Moss.
I would put like 7.
All right, so you're overweight. I mean,
I like Kyron Williams here. Like Cleveland,
how many people are gonna
we would like to attack normally, but they got a lot of guys missing and banged up. They're on the road. They kind of given up. This team with the quarterback situation, I think this team they're going to be turning the ball over. The Rams are going to be getting the ball in good field position. Kyron Williams is going to have opportunities to score.
I love him.
I like him. I like him a lot. I wouldn't say it's somebody I would lock in, but I'm definitely going to be playing him.
I feel like that price at 7,200 going against the Browns, Dealey.
The volume.
I don't see anyone getting there in like a 1K, single entry, right? When you go up, like it'll be 0, and then when you go down to like the $50, $20 single entry, which a lot of our viewers, I think this comes in at 3. I don't think anyone gets there at 7,200.
I love him here.
I love this spot. Love it.
Yeah, strong tournament play for me. Cup certainly doesn't look right. No sense in paying for him, in my opinion. Even with the corner out, not gonna get the Puka at 7K Stafford. Browns still will get pressure. So I don't think it'll be like a ceiling game for Stafford. Kyron is the guy I'm looking at. And I think you can go Rams defense. We're going to likely get some Joe Flacco here. Arguably an upgrade for some of the pass catchers, as we mentioned.
I think it actually is
an upgrade.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think it's good for Amari.
It's an upgrade for a pick 6.
Guys, I watched DTR all through college. Did you see? Like, he's dog shit. Like, there was no, me and Hoffman went on Twitter about a year and a half ago, actually 2.5 years ago, and said Bryce Young will be the single worst pick in the history of the NFL draft, right? Like, there's certain, and he's literally Bryce Young, but worse. He's dollar store Bryce Young. That, like, anyone's an upgrade here. Like, Flacco's an upgrade. Rams might walk out of this game with 9 sacks, but he will at least go to the tight end and go to Amari Cooper. He's a 1 to 2 read. Here's Joe Flacco. Drop back, first read, second read.
You're going to see a lot of short area targets, nothing downfield.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do agree with you, Healy, that this is a little bit of an upgrade to a Cooper. It's a lot of an upgrade to an Njoku. But
yeah.
That's why Njoku's getting a lot of that ownership that we were talking about with Freiermuth. So I think Freiermuth
crazy amount, though. At 4,100, he's getting that much.
It's just the spot he's in.
I mean, obviously, you said Flacco's going to check it down. He's going to have probably 6 to 8 receptions. If he gets in the box, he's going to be really.
No, it's a great play, but I mean, dude,
not only that, his price is still the same. And over the last 4 weeks, he's the second highest targeted tight end. Like, there's no reason to want to.
And you're getting Flacco, who loves the tight end. Like, I totally understand the play. Like, it's not like I think Njoku's not a great play, but Healy was saying before he's gonna be like over 20% owned.
for
Like,
that.
what are you
reason.
projecting him at? Like tight ends don't come in at 25% out.
They do. They've been lately. It's those cheap tight ends have been they've been killing these slates.
Not when you have Hunter Henry, Freiermuth, possible Jawan Johnson. You got like a lot of opportunity. You're talking about Jordan. You got a lot of opportunity for cheap tight end. Like there's no way.
There's going to be yeah, 3 of them are going to be over 20%. McBride, him, and Jawan Johnson. Yep.
Just more reason to play the Freiermuth at 8. I mean, that's
again, like
So is
double tight end
Njoku and
build.
Moss on the millionaire lineup? And Njoku and Moss on the millionaire.
you can't see the thing about Njoku
Honest
is
question.
he's a solid play, right? But you can't project Njoku to break a slate. He's a fucking tight end. Even if he goes off, it's going to be what 6 for 60.
He has been seeing the targets though. You want to talk about just target share?
No, I get it. His high for the year is 17, right? Like he's not going to go break a slate. You know, even if he does that, even if he goes fucking 5 for 75 and a touchdown, it's not breaking a slate.
But there's the
Would
question:
you feel more
cash
comfortable-
game.
Would you feel more
Cashman?
comfortable
Do you
playing
think
Njoku at 41 or McBride at 49?
Probably Njoku, but then if you took me down to Freiermuth at 43 versus Arizona or Njoku at 41, I think if we bet on that straight up, you're probably 65, 35, 60. No, yeah, it's not 90-10 where it would offset the ownership.
Would you
Because
play
if I'm getting an 8%, if I'm getting a 7% Freiermuth and you're getting a 24% Njoku, right? And I'm getting a 4x, 3x edge on ownership, and you have a 65% chance of outscoring me, I make the Freiermuth play every time. The math.
Would you play Njoku at 41 or Laporta at 56?
I mean, you're in 2 different
Depending
price
on your
ranges.
build.
Njoku at 41.
Different builds.
And no, it's Njoku
It's
at
different
41.
bills, but I'm saying the bills that you're getting to, who would you rather choose? What bill?
Njoku at 41, 100%. I never want to pay over 4K at a tight end. But I would play Freiermuth at 7% over Njoku 10 times out of 10.
Pre-Tate
3%.
Pre-Tate Kelsey.
Freiermuth is at 3%, right? Like if you're looking at 3% Freiermuth, like what do you think the odds are, Jerry, that Njoku outscores Freiermuth? What would you lay the odds?
I mean, I think Freiermuth
not that much.
Outscore him.
Hey, 65% of the time Njoku and scores him, and I think that's generous.
I don't even think it's that high.
He has higher
It's
touchdown
probably-
upside. Njoku has higher
It's
touchdown.
probably like 50, 55,
But the
right?
Flacco thing is a whole wild
Mike,
card.
you love lines. Give me a line. Njoku versus Freiermuth head to head.
I was just saying. Well, the upside is Njoku gets more touchdowns, but the wild card is the Flacco angle.
Right,
I mean,
which
can
is
you,
give me
anybody
the line.
definitively tell me what Flacco's arm's going to look like? I mean,
No,
like,
he
can he
just walked
even
over a
throw a
couch.
ball?
He
Is
may
he in
throw for
shape?
40, right? But
it's
Mike, give me the line.
It's
Give me
such
the
a
line.
wild card because of him.
Njoku
For
versus
this week,
Freiermuth.
for this week,
No,
and
for week
Dra-
15.
DraftKings fantasy points for this week. I mean, I would have to say Freiermuth minus like 1.5.
That's enough.
1.5, 2.5.
That's enough.
I
If
know.
we're saying, Healy,
But
what would you
just
say?
because
Minus.
Hold on,
Flacco
Mike,
guys,
hold on.
Yeah,
Go on.
I would take Freiermuth because
I get it.
Flacco's such a wild card.
Got it. I just need this quick. Healy. What's the
Yeah,
line
but
on
now-
Freiermuth and Njoku?
If I'm setting it or like what
You're
do you-
setting it. What's the line? What's your projection on both of them?
I think it's like 52% Njoku.
Okay, Jerry. More
I would
percentage
give,
chance
I would give
Njoku.
the I would give the edge to Njoku here.
Right. What's the percentage? Like 80% of the time, 20%, 50% of the time?
No,
What's
I would
that?
say like 65%.
Okay, now I'm telling you, Freiermuth's going to be 3% owned, and Njoku's going to be 23.
I mean, I'm telling you, I like Freiermuth.
There's
I mentioned
not
it
even
earlier.
a question who you're playing. If we're talking about a 50-50 edge, even 60-40,
if
I'm getting
building a chalk
900%
lineup,
difference on the owner.
if I'm building a lineup with a lot of chalk, Freiermuth is a great pivot off of Njoku.
If I'm building 100 lineups with what we just said, 53% edge or something to Njoku, Freiermuth's on 10 times as many lineups as Njoku.
I'm
Man.
playing both of them on the slate. I like both of them. It just depends on my lineup build.
A lot
3%.
of this depends on lineup.
48% chance at 3% is a no-brainer. So,
Get to a line.
all right, I think Kyron Williams one of the best plays in the entire slate. I'm absolutely obsessed with him. I don't think a lot of people are going to get to him. I think he's going to come in at single digits. I think a lot of that we were just talking earlier in the show. It's going to be a lot of Tyreek, Amon-Ra, CMC, Tua, People are going to want to go up to that stars and scrubs lineup, and these 6 to 7K guys, the Debos, the Kyron Williams, the Thielens, are going to fucking fall in extremely underowned. I think people are going to see this Cleveland defense, and I think it was Healy who just said the Browns are not a juggernaut on the ground, dude. Denver just ran through them last week like a fucking hot knife through butter, and Najee Harris and Warren sliced them in half 2 weeks ago.
Baltimore destroyed them.
Yeah, this team has given up 169 and 172 on the ground in the last 2 weeks. So if you're telling me Kyron could even get 70, 80 yards on the ground, I'm playing him for the receiving upside here, where I think he goes 6 for 70 and a touchdown. I think he's a fucking 8% owned slam on this slate. Mike, you got anything else you want to add here?
No. I mean, Kyron Williams is really the only play I like. I mean, I don't not like Njoku.
And no one's going to play him, Mike, right?
Flacco is just such a wild card for me. But I want to add to that. I mean, Stafford fucking sucks, and Cleveland is the best defense against the pass. So I get that they're banged up, and I know they have a great pass rush, but their defensive line, I mean, they're pretty deep, and they rank very well against this Rams offensive line. So I'm completely off the Rams pass catchers, except for Kyron out of the backfield. So volume play, and it's their best path in this game.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to overlook him. Guy went for 158 and 143 in his last 2 games. Granted, it was Arizona.
And he's explosive as fuck.
No, and it's the receiving.
Yeah, it's just the price on him. People are overlooking him because of the price. It's not because of the matchup.
No, and that's why I love him. That's 7,200. If he was 66, he'd probably be like 25, 22% out, right? But that's 7,200. Once you get over 7K, like even me with Tank Dell, right? This is the first week. I'm like, 7,400. Maybe I step away. At 66, I'm jamming him in. We're talking about Thielen, how Thielen's price finally came down. It was 72, now it's 66. There's a mental factor, Healy, I think, at that 7K number.
Kyron is 8,500 on FanDuel.
That's
a little tough.
I'm not
definitely
not on him on FanDuel.
Yeah, we like his receiving
Absolutely
upside.
not.
That's a little tough, but yeah, I mean, I Healy, what do you
it's
think? We're jamming
he's
Kyron.
He's higher than Eckler. He's higher than Kamara.
Yeah, no,
that's just tough to get to.
Yeah,
I
no,
think he outperforms those two, honestly, but it's 8,500. It's just
no. I will say this. I will say this. Having fun, throwing things around, Mike Constantino, Millie Maker, Cooper Kupp. He can break a slate. No, he can break a fucking slate.
Something's wrong with him.
This is the cheapest I've seen Cooper Kupp ever. He's 7,200.
Could you, if he turned around tomorrow, or not tomorrow, today's fucking Friday. Fuck me.
If he did it tomorrow, it would be insane.
It would be crazy. If he goes Sunday for $160 and 2 touchdowns, would everyone be like, oh my God, I've never seen that from Cooper Kupp before? I actually don't think
that's a crazy play.
I don't think it's crazy. On FanDuel, he's cheap. He's 7,100. This is the cheapest you're ever going to see.
FanDuel, it's a phenomenal play.
Hey, cash lineup? No. Cash lineup? No. If you're throwing some fun lineups, you're having some fun with this shit, Cooper Kupp's a fucking great play.
Can I interject on that one?
Strippers are great fucking plays. Let's go. Cooper Kupp.
Exactly what you're saying is like going to Walgreens the day after Easter and you get all the broken bunnies with the ears and they're like on sale at 50% off.
I go to the dollar store looking for girls who need money.
That's that.
Meanwhile, on that, that's a good analogy, Mike. But on that sign, it's a picture of Bryce Young.
On my game.
Picture of Bryce Young on that sign going, hey, I'm a broken piece of garbage.
Dude,
I'm going to give you the real
can't even look
crazy Millie Maker player. I don't hate the Cup thing. 8K is still a little much for a guy who's broken, but Amari Cooper at 5,700 here, Healy. We know he's the stud. We know he's the guy. Everyone's going to be on Elijah Moore. I'm assuming Elijah is going to be kind of chalky. What do you think? Is he going to at least 10%-ish? Probably going to out ownership Amari by 5x, right? Like Amari Cooper, I'm assuming Healy will tell us in a second. It's going to be like 1%. Like no one's going to play Amari Cooper, right? Because we're all playing Njoku, and then they go cheap. Elijah Moore.
Actually, Elijah Moore is checking in at good ownership.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's trying to be about 10, right? Right.
So we're Cooper like 2-3%.
Right. So we're talking to 2% Amari Cooper. So I'm telling you, at under 6K, I can get the single best target monster on the team, and it's not close. With, like Mike said, a complete wild card in Joe Flacco. Would you be floored if Amari Cooper had 14 targets in this game? And would you be floored if he went 1 for 10? Well, like anything can happen. So if I'm taking a chance on a high end, like that's the guy at under 6K who could go 8 for 85 and a touchdown, and Flacco peppers him 16
Flacco
times.
was known for being able to throw a deep ball.
And he throws one of the best deep balls in NFL.
But we just don't know if he can still do it.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. This is a wild card play.
I don't mind it because of that reason. I would probably like Cooper over Njoku for that reason. Flacco's not really a tight end guy unless I'm mistaken. Was he really a big tight end?
He was, but at the same time, the bottom line is we don't know what Flacco's going to be. He's walking off the couch. We have no fucking idea.
No shit. Imagine Joe Flacco waking up and then becoming a quarterback.
But if you don't know what the
how bad is the quarterback position, honestly, that you can't get like a good college player that's not like your backup, your third, that you got to call fucking Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, out of time. Last time he played, he was horrendous.
How bad is it that it's an upgrade?
What is going on here?
Imagine waking up next to GOAT.
And we're at the 2 hour. Shut the fuck up. So we're at the 2 hour mark. I will tell you this: if you do have an unknown at quarterback, right, like we know, I don't want to eat 23% chalk with it, like Njoku. That is the one piece I'll give you. I'd rather eat a 1% superstar than a 23% tight end, in my opinion. If I was going to do it, I know he's more expensive, but that's just me. Let's go through each of us real quick. Give me 2 or 3 guys you know for a fact they're going to be in your lineup. We ran through all the games, Sealy, right? Unless I missed anything.
Yeah, we ran through all the games. But if you want any of my plays, if you haven't signed up yet, you're going to have to get my plays in the article if you didn't listen to the whole show.
I love it. I'm always a fan of it.
I love
Jerry?
I mean, my plays will be in my article. My plays will be in my article also, my core 4 and all that. But if I just had to throw somebody
No. That's it. Fuck them.
All right.
You just follow up. Just run it back. Mike, what about you?
Well, I hate to swim against the tide, but I like to provide value here. So, all
right, we just did. Trevor, what about you? I think 2 or 3 plays that are going to be.
Oh, we'll give the GOATs plays. Let's fucking go.
I'll have 2 or 3 plays in my article too. So you got enough shit in 2 hours from us. If you want our core plays and our lineups and our locks, get over to 4deep.com. Use promo code VIP20 for 20% off. We are fucking across the board, every sport, betting, DFS. It is a fucking skull fucking that's going on over there. Get over. Healy and Jerry will lead you through the DFS side. Me and the boys will lead you through the betting side. We are smashing on every angle. Final words, Brian Healy.
Birds by 100.
You don't believe that. Jerry.
Read our articles. We got some good plays, man. Last week we smashed.
We do. Mike.
For those of you subscribers and listeners that don't know, Tommy was featured in the New York Post.
I was posing on a Jaguar. Trevor.
Let's fucking go.
This is like the Wolfman from radio.
I don't know what was that. That was were you like what's his name? Seth freaking Rollins or whatever?
It's like Will Ferrell playing a character on Saturday Night Live. He looks like.
Yeah, that was great. 4, Mike Constantino, Brian Healy, Scarface, Trevor. I am Tommy G. Get over to 4deep.com, promo code VIP20. Get over to tons of DFS. We have a whole Discord just focused on DFS all day, all night. You get to hang out with Scarface, and unfortunately, Healy's in there a lot. Good luck. Stay cashing, motherfuckers.
Let's go.
There we go, Mike. I was hoping you'd done it.
First basket.